the road and a point differential, which is 1/10 better than New Orleans for the worst in the league. Your first-round draft pick, Nick Clifford, has been disappointing. Max Reynaud is starting to play well, second-round pick. Your free agent signing in the offseason, Dennis Schroeder, has really been a disaster in terms of what you wanted from him and what you're getting and where the roster is right now. You have, in my opinion, coaching that I have not quite figured out. You have a direction that I don't know how to really analyze. And then you have the general manager of the Sacramento Kings who keeps talking about his 6 pillars, his principles that are the core principles: competitive, tough, team-oriented, accountable, disciplined, and professional. Through 24 games, would you say the Kings have been competitive? No. Would you say they've been tough? No. Many games, they're like a bunch of pillows out on the floor. Would you say they've been team-oriented? No, not unless you're like one-on-one basketball without passing. If that's what you consider team-oriented, then yes. So right now, you're 0 of 3 with competitive, tough, and team-oriented. Again, that's 0 for 3. Accountable? Yeah, I think the players have been accountable. I mean, I really do. Disciplined? No. I mean, clearly not disciplined. How many times have we heard Doug Christie come on after the game and say, that's unacceptable? Right? How many times? How many? So discipline, no. So a professional, yeah, you know, I have no problem with the professionalism. So you're 2 and 4 with your 6 core principles. Would you disagree with that? Competitive? How could you say they've been competitive? They get blown out on at least once a week. Their point differential proves that. Tough? Really? Tough? Do you think anybody looks at the Sacramento Kings and says, oh boy, that's a tough team? I mean, what do we hear Doug talk about at the end of every game? You know, we got to get more handsy. And, you know, the other team, they were very handsy. They were very physical. You know, we didn't meet their physicality. So we talk about, like, identity. Now, if you ask Doug Christie, he doesn't even hesitate. What's the identity of the team? He'll say defense, rebound, and share the basketball. Well, that's what most coaches would like their team to be. The Kings have no identity, like none. None. I mean, absolutely none. Let me give you a couple of early grades. King's grade is an F-. That's from the 916. 209, I would watch the Indiana Fever instead of the Kings. 530, Kings get an F. Poor coaching, terrible point guard, no defense, no heart, and can't close out a game. Pathetic. I would say that pretty much wraps it up. I would say that pretty much summarizes it. 916, hey, Grant, I'll give them a D just because Sabonis being out a lot of games and Keegan at the beginning of the season. 209, F for the team, D+ for the front office. I give 2 to 3 years for Perry to see what he does for the organization, but so far, not good at all. And A+ for those Kings fans that still show up to the game and show support. Yeah, all right, we're on the same page right there. I'm also giving the Kings fans an A+. So you're 3 games away from 1/3 of the season being in the books. Your 6 core principles don't look very good right now. You have no identity. Like if you asked those that cover the NBA, and I mean cover the whole league and cover the Kings, if you asked them what the identity of the Sacramento Kings fans would be, I would say that the number one response would be dysfunctional. That's what I would say. I would say if you asked all the national media members that cover the NBA, give me one word to summarize the Kings' identity, the word dysfunctional would probably win. So here we are. Merry Christmas, by the way. Here we are, the second week of December, and the Kings are an absolute mess. 253 chiming in. F. Ugly games, no effort. I don't agree with you on the no effort. I don't think that's fair. There are games where the effort is there, but there have been too many games where not. And when you're a professional athlete, no. Now, December 15th is a big day in the NBA because that's when we can start seeing movement. I've been very clear about this from day one. You know, you watched the G League game last night, Devin Carter and Nick Clifford playing, and you see how well Devin Carter plays. Devin Carter needs to get into the rotation for the Sacramento Kings. Your season is over. All right, I don't want to hear about the 10th spot, okay? No, thank you. No, thank you to get lucky and win 2 games and play the Oklahoma City Thunder. No, thank you. Your season is over. Play Devin Carter, okay? I want to see what he can do with a realistic run. I don't want another Davion Mitchell where you give up on him too soon and look at what he's doing. I don't want that, okay? I don't want that. And if you're going to have Russell Westbrook on the team, which I did not understand because you just signed Dennis Schroeder, who when he comes back, like what's that going to do? How's Carter going to get on the floor? It just doesn't make sense. 916-779-0929. What is your letter grade? 530. Dysfunctional or incompetent, or perhaps your favorite word, pathetic. Grant, are you ready for Christmas? I will be ready for Christmas on December 24th like I am every year. Wake me up on Christmas Eve and go, Napes, I don't know if you're aware of it tomorrow, but it's Christmas and you don't have any gifts under the tree. Nothing. Oh, yeah, that's right. Give me 2 hours. I'll be right back. That's me. All right. So I'll be ready for Christmas at about, well, I got to work. So I got to work from 3 to 6 Christmas Eve. So I'm thinking, let's see, by the time I got to be ready by 2 o'clock because when I get off the air at 6, the stores are going to be closed. And now I got to be ready by about 2:15 to 2:20. I'm thinking of commute time, getting prepared, getting everything ready to roll. I'm thinking I got to be ready about 2:18 on Christmas Eve. Then you can ask me if I'm ready for Christmas. So far I've got mostly Fs. I did get a D plus. D plus is like an F, is it? Like if you got a D plus, I didn't even know if there is such a thing as a D plus. Like if you get a D plus, that's still pretty much an F, is it not? But I understand where you're coming from. All right, 916-779-0929. We get to Al. Hello, Al. How are you?
Mr. Grand Napier, sir, I love it. Yes, it's an F. And we're a little old school. You're just a couple years behind me. And we had absolute, not this relational, no grading curve stuff,
Yeah.
when it comes to more quantifiable stuff, right? So the Kings, I would give the front office the worst of grades because and you've been ranting on this and you're right on to do it. Just horrible, horrible decision making coming from the owner down through the process for years. So over time, you wonder how can it become better? The famous, if you keep doing the same way, is that what a definition of insanity or a madman or a mad organization? I feel sad for the A+ Kings fans. Those who are Kings fans, yeah, they really have a great thing. So they're an F. Now off the air, the breaking news as a Ohio State Buckeye fan. You went to a school in Ohio.
Yep.
What did you think about I want to hear your take on the news of firing of Mr. Moore for a little bit of inappropriate activity, shall we say?
Well, you have a contract and you have language in the contract, and I don't know what Moore's contract reads, but I can guess. And the quote unquote inappropriate relationship in which they found credible evidence with a staff member probably is in violation of his contract. And so they're going in a different direction. I don't know what else to say because, like you, I only know what the statement reads. I don't know what actually occurred behind the scenes. So I'll just have to leave it to that.
I guess leave it at that. But I mean, okay, from you, a man who's been in the business, who's sports your life like me, but you professionally more so, the impact to Michigan football because of the loss of the head coach. That's my question.
Okay, it depends on who you replace him with, right? It depends who you replace him with. I can't answer that
Yeah, and he
question.
was.
I can't answer that question because I don't know who is going to be the next head coach of Michigan. If I were to say it's going to be, and I would never hire this guy, Brian Kelly, or if I would say Nick Saban is coming out of the booth to coach, I would say, wow, Nick Saban's going to coach at Michigan. You know, my point is I need to wait and hear who the next coach is going to be before I can answer that question. I don't know about, I mean,
Okay.
the impact on the surface is bad. It's a bad look for Michigan. Obviously, we've already had recruits commit and they can now bolt if they were in line with more, but I want to see who the next head coach is going to be.
Yeah, no, that's fair, but you hit the two topics. That's right. Unless Michigan has it in line, and remember, this guy was kind of set up by Harbaugh to come in, so there's more egg on the face.
Yep.
Yeah, more egg on the face for the great, prestigious Wolverines, and I laugh at that school up north. You have a great rest of the day, Grant.
I appreciate that. That sounds like a real Buckeye fan talking that no matter what Michigan does, you will harp on them. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. I understand. I get it. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Matter of fact, to show you what that rivalry was like, I'll never forget this. So I went to college at Bowling Green, which is 2 hours from Columbus and about 90 minutes from Ann Arbor. So let's just call it's in the middle. All right. The week of I'll never forget this. The week of the Ohio State-Michigan game on campus at Bowling Green, I'll never forget it. I'm walking to class on Monday of the Michigan-Ohio State, okay? Ohio State, Michigan. And I'm looking at the dorm windows and the fraternity and the sorority houses. And there are Ohio State banners and Michigan banners everywhere. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did I wake up and I'm not at Bowling Green anymore? Am I at Ohio State? I'll wait to hear this story. I'm like, this is unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe walking to class the week of that game and seeing all of the Ohio State and Michigan signage all over campus. So here's my first time ever in Columbus. I pledged my fraternity in my first semester of school. So we started in, I want to say, the third week of September, okay? And I pledged right away. So we had Hell Week, which I don't even know if they still have that now because you can't do anything now. But we had a pretty, hard, I guess, Hell Week. All right, it was not a picnic. And you can't do that in this day and age. So, again, Hell Week, where you maybe slept 2 to 3 hours. They would come wake you up in the middle of the night and do all kinds of stuff, whether it was like run around campus, blah, 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 blah. So they wake us up, I don't know, I guess it's like 1 a.m, and they put us into a van, all of the pledge class, and we get dropped off in the middle of the Ohio State campus. It's like 3:30 in the morning. And our only instructions are we have to find the Phi Delta house. Because I was pledging to the Phi Delta Theta fraternity. So here we are. It's cold, by the way. I am in the middle of the Ohio State campus with my pledge brothers. We have no idea where we're going. I've never been to Columbus. And all of a sudden, we're walking through the campus, and I come across the horseshoe. And I stopped, and I was like, wow. Now, back then, they had, at the open part of the horseshoe, they didn't have any stands there. So you could see into the stadium. And I was like so pumped. I was like, wow. I can't believe it's 4 a.m, and I'm sitting there looking at the horseshoe. I just was blown away. That was my first memory of being at Ohio State. How about that? And I'll never forget that view of that stadium and the history. And you got to remember, when I went to college, Woody Hayes is coaching, Bo Schembechler is coaching. I mean, that's real Michigan, Ohio State right there. Never forget it. Really, I'll never forget that. It was an incredible moment as a 18-year-old kid being in the middle of the campus at Ohio State, having no idea where I'm going, no idea about anything, but I didn't care because I'm looking at the football stadium and Woody Hayes and everything else. Yeah, I'm a little different. You know that already. You know that. You know I'm a little different. I'll tell you what else is different, right? DAS Mechanical when it comes to heating and air. Different when it comes to customer service. All of their 5-star reviews, their numerous best of the best awards. And I was so happy to get this message on the text line yesterday saying, had a great experience last week with DAS Mechanical. Started out as a call for a non-working heater. The heater started up before DAS got there. Nick, the technician, tuned up the system. It's 23 years old. He recommended a couple of parts be changed because of the age of the unit. No hard sell. I had him install the parts. I'll have him back in the spring to tune up the AC. Great group. That's why I love talking about DAS Mechanical. HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. Homeowners, businesses for commercial maintenance. And if you should need financing, 0% interest for 18 months available. Serving Sacramento and Placer counties. Go online. You can book everything at D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. That's DAS mechanical.org for all of your heating, air needs. More of your text messages and phone calls on this topic. Don't forget, 49ers Talk with Larry Krueger at 4 o'clock, 916-779-0929, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580 or go to elitepower.com.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. At Bennett's, it's all about bold flavors and fresh handcrafted food served with genuine hospitality. Craving prime hand-cut steaks? We've got them. Fresh salmon, halibut, or giant Mexican prawns? We've got those too. At Bennett's, we serve premium seafood and steaks in a relaxed setting. Whether you're joining us for a special night out or a casual bite, we'll treat you like family every time. Find us in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. View our menus and make a reservation at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Decisions determine results. So which path do I want to take? Help people in need or stand on the sidelines watching? Worry about how to pay for school or have my education paid for? Push myself and learn new skills or stay the same? My decision is to serve part-time with the Army National Guard, and my results will be life-changing. What will you decide? Go to NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters.
You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Yeah, I saw
Or
that.
that time you forgot to roll
Or
up your
heard that.
windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
916-779-0929 from the 916. Can we stop with the Devin Carter needs more run? The dude is like 6'1", and we've seen him for 2 years. What makes you think he needs to play? We've seen plenty. This type of player either has it instantly or never will. He's just too small, doesn't make and can't shoot consistently in the league. He brings nothing. He's not an NBA player. Not just want him because you don't want Westbrook. Give Neek point guard minutes over Carter, Folsom Mike. Mike, you are so far out of touch with reality that I don't even know where to start. Davion Mitchell, okay, is 6'1". How's he doing? Many guards in the NBA are very good at 6'1", okay? You've seen plenty. He didn't have a training camp last year. He didn't come onto the court until January. There were games last year where he did play very well, all right? As far as you saying he either has it instantly or never will, are you delusional, Mike? And I know you're a big listener of the show, but Mike, I want you to listen to me. Are you delusional? Seriously. Are you delusional that he either has it instantly or never will? How many point guards come into the league that have it instantly? And he's really a combo guard, but you're so far off base. So if that's the case, that means under your summation, Neek Clifford is a bust, right? I mean, you either have it instantly or never will. And you want to play Neek more, but based on what you just said, Mike, and hit me up, Mike, 916-779-0929. Based on your verbiage, you're telling me that Neek Clifford is a bust. Is that what you're telling me? That he either has it instantly or never will? Do you know how stupid that is, Mike?
Hey,
you know
Grant,
how many players?
Hey,
what? Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, Grant, I just got a comment from the Kings on Mike's text.
That just is unacceptable.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just want to throw that in.
You got to give me a break. Either has it instantly or never will. How stupid is that, Rhino?
Terrible. It's a
come
awful
on.
take.
You know, if you don't like Devin Carter, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But don't say that because he's 6'1", that's an issue. It's not an issue. Don't say that he either instantly has it or never will, because that just shows your ignorance. It's stupid.
Well, let's start from the beginning of the take. We've seen him for 2 years. No, you haven't. He was injured for Summer League his rookie year. You didn't see him for the start of the season last season. So, yeah, it's flawed from the beginning.
Just ridiculous. 916-779-0929. He says, think downsizing versus layoffs, typical doublespeak. That's what we get with our Sacramento Kings. I don't know what you get. You know, I don't know what you get. I really don't. All I know is when you get blown out and embarrassed in a lot of your games early in the season, like I've been on teams. When I mean been on teams, I'm talking about I've been within the walls of horrible teams. I know what it's like. Okay? I've been on the airplane. I've been on the bus. I've been in the locker room. I know what goes on. But do you know that almost all of the experiences that I'm talking about have been towards the end of the season with interim coaches and players can't wait until game 82 so they can get out of Dodge? Like I've been through that many, many times. More times than I care to acknowledge. I've been on the bus in March and April where it's like a morgue on the bus. And you're going to a game and you know nobody wants to play. And you're looking at the coach sitting in that seat in the front right or the front left, depending on which seat that coach on that team wants to sit in, and you're looking at that coach who you know well, who you like and respect, and you're feeling awful for him because he's a dead man walking. You know how many times I've experienced that? I've experienced that too many times. It is an awful feeling. But that's normally in March and April. That's normally towards the end of the season. This is now at the beginning of the season, which is no longer the beginning of the season because you're almost 1/3 in the books. Okay? I mean, that's where we're at right now. And then you have a report a couple of days ago from Sam Amick, a very, very well-respected NBA media member, who talks about Scott Perry telling Vivek Ranadive that it's going to be a 3 to 5 year rebuild plan and that patience is the virtue and that Vivek Ranadive is actually on board with that. Then you had Scott Perry doing an interview today with the flagship station of the Kings, refuting that, completely denying that it is untrue by Sam Amick of The Athletic. Well, I mean, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know. I really don't. 916 chime in. And hey, Grant, what's up? Just recently found your show. Glad to have you back in Sacramento. I'll give the Kings an A for tanking. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Thank you for finding the show. Thank you for being here and spread the word to your friends. From the 209, in all of your years, which Kings head coach firing shocked you the most? Probably Michael Malone. Pete D'Alessandro stabbed him in the back. The gutless owner allowed it to happen. I've always said this. They fired the wrong coach and traded the wrong player. They should have traded DeMarcus Cousins right then and there, kept Isaiah Thomas and Michael Malone, and the Kings would have been off and running. That was a double mistake that year. Double mistake. Boy, that was horrible. That was just horrible. Boy, I'll never forget that year. That was brutal. Absolutely brutal. That was as bad as it gets. 916-779-0929. Don't forget 49ers Talk at 4 o'clock with Larry Krueger from the Bay Area. So, again, if you're just joining us, what's your letter grade as we approach 1/3 of the season for the Sacramento Kings? I don't know what good it does to look at the schedule anymore, but I'm going to do it anyway. Denver tomorrow, at Minnesota, Portland on the road, Portland at home, Houston at home, Detroit at home, Dallas at home, at the Lakers, at the Clippers. Happy New Year. So realistically, how many of these games do you think the Kings will win? I think they're going to lose their next 2. I think they're going to lose both games to Portland. I think they're going to lose to Houston at home, Detroit at home. I think they'll beat Dallas. They'll lose to the Lakers and beat the Clippers. So let's say I'm off by a game. I don't see him winning against Denver. I don't see him winning against Minnesota. Although I know they beat both those teams a few weeks ago, but I don't see that. They're not going to beat Houston. Or excuse me. They could split against Portland. I beg your pardon. They're not going to beat Houston at home. They're not going to beat Detroit at home. They're not going to beat the Lakers on the road. That's also a back-to-back Saturday and Sunday. They should beat the Clippers in their final game of calendar year 2025. And then Happy New Year. Happy New Year. That's right. You start the new year with Boston, go on the road to Phoenix, and then you're looking at the finish line already and the trade deadline and everything else. That's where we're at. I don't know about you, but that's where we're at. No identity for the team. Really, there is no identity other than what I disclosed in the first segment. Just, there isn't. Doesn't exist. It does not exist. You know, there's only one, well, I shouldn't say only one player. If you really want to talk about competitive, tough, team-oriented, accountable, disciplined, and professional, that's Russell Westbrook, right? That's Russell Westbrook. I mean, that's Keegan Murray. Even though I think Keegan, he's got to get his offense going. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give him a pass anymore. He's got to get going. Rhino, you and I think, are a little different here on the way I'm evaluating him. And I'm evaluating him more on a stricter measure now for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, his tenure with the team and in the league. Number two, he's playing without Sabonis, which means that there's no excuse. I don't have enough touches. There's not now, you've got to start scoring more consistently. I'm tired of talking about his inconsistent offensively. I don't need to talk about him defensively. I know what he does. I get all of that. He needs to be more consistent offensively, and I'm not making excuses for him anymore. I'm just not.
Yeah, he's paid now too, Grant.
Yes.
He's got his quote-unquote bag. I would say he does need to make his shots like we've talked about, but I do think there is a little bit more of an onus on the coaching staff. You have to understand who a player is. And most times you're not going to change demeanor, especially with a guy like Keegan, and you need to put him in positions to be successful. Now, that goes both ways. He needs to be more aggressive as well on his own. He doesn't just need to rely on the coaching staff. And I think we've seen some of those moves here and there. He's either in and he's, being aggressive, taking that fall away on the baseline, taking the step back three, or he's not really doing much in between. So it goes back to that consistency word. Can we get to the middle? I think everybody would be happy there.
All right. Again, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. In your opinion, what is his ceiling?
Keegan Murray's ceiling. It's a great question. I think probably a guy that's going to be a low 40%, mid 40% three-point shooter, a guy that will be an all defensive team. And
no way he's going to be a mid 40% shooter. That's not going to happen.
Okay, maybe I overstated. Thank you for checking me. I think he'll be in the 40s, and a guy probably that will have at some point in the next couple of years a most improved player in the NBA if this roster improves. But I see him as a double-double guy every single night. I think it has to start there. Maybe a fringe all-star once. What about you?
He's got a long way to go to be a fringe all-star, in my opinion. So,
especially if you're on the Kings. Because remember, you can have like 97 double-doubles in the first half of the season and still not make the all-star team.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even close to being an all-star right now. Like he wouldn't even be in the conversation. So, like, I'm not even thinking all-star, although I did ask you what his ceiling is, and now you're asking me. But that's right now not on my mind. I think he can be, well, first of all, I think in order to be a 50-win team, Keegan Murray is not going to be your best player. Okay? So, to me, he needs to be a top 3 player.
Yep.
But I don't think he can be your best player. But I'm okay if you tell me he's your 3rd best player based on where I see his ceiling. And I think that ceiling needs to be reached by the end of next season. Not this season. At the end of next season, I believe that he'll then be starting year 6. That's where his ceiling needs to be. That's where he needs to reach it based on his age, experience, and everything else.
Ceiling by the end of year 6?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be in the prime of his career. I mean, how much better is he going to get? Most players, Ryan, don't get better at age 27, 28, and 29. When they get to be right there, they're at their ceiling. They're at the peak of their career. They're not going to get better. They might get better experience, but in terms of their actual play on the court, you don't see a lot of players improve at that age.
Yeah, I understand that part of it. I think circumstance as well with what's going on with this team. I just would have loved, and we talked about this when DeMar DeRozan came to Sacramento. DeMar has been very good. You got the DeMar DeRozan experience. This is what DeMar does. but it really has stunted the opportunities that I think you had for growing Keegan a little bit more on the offensive end of the ball.
Okay, but we're talking about a player in DeMar DeRozan that really plays in the NBA, for lack of a better term, more of a ball-dominant position, right? Your small forward, when you look at rosters around the NBA, most of them are prolific scorers. That's what they do, correct?
Correct.
So let's say you don't have DeMar DeRozan on the floor, and let's say Keegan Murray is not, for whatever reason, moved into that slot and he stays where he is. You're going to be bringing in a new small forward. You don't think that player's going to be shooting the basketball a lot? So he still needs to learn how to develop and get his own shot in his own offense, because it's not like you're going to get a small forward in and he's going to be a passing small forward. That doesn't happen in this day and age in the NBA for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, but when I think about that position, I think a lot more about guys that play in motion, that play with the ball moving as opposed to the ISO game. You could probably, Grant, how many ISO guys can we name off at that position?
Well, whatever. All I'm saying is he's now in his fourth season, okay? And at some point, sooner rather than later, you can't the reasons why have to stop. It is a production-based league, and you need to figure it out. And that's really where I'm at. I'm sorry. He's getting paid. That's where I'm at with him. That's where I'm at. I'm not it has to happen really soon.
Fair enough. And to his credit, he's only played 9 games, and he hit the ground running, right? Like, hit the ground running conditioning-wise. So, look, let's revisit this when we have a 20-game sample of Keegan Murray. I think we'll be feeling a lot more comfortable as we get further along down the road.
I hope so. And again, I'm not slamming him. I'm not like super down on Keegan. But what I'm saying is, in the past, I have given him, like you, a pass with his inconsistent offense. I'm not going to give him a pass anymore. That's done. No, he's now grown up. He's in the big boy league with big boy experience and a big boy contract. I'm not giving him the pass anymore. I'm moving on from that.
Okay, but let me ask you this. If this is the offense for Keegan Murray, I still think he's worth the money for what he does defensively and the ability to explode at times. There's a place for that guy on every single team, Grant.
I don't disagree with that. There is a place for him on every single team, just like there's a place for Harrison Barnes on every single team. I'm with you 100% on that. Oh, no doubt. No, there's no disagreement there. I mean, Dennis Schroeder, like, you want to talk about another player, and $15 million a year. Could have this first third of the season, and I know he's missed now a few games, could it have gone any worse for the Kings and Dennis Schroeder as we hit the 25th game of the season tomorrow?
No, because Domantas Sabonis wanted a point guard, and the closest thing he's gotten to that is Russell Westbrook towards the end of training camp. I mean,
yeah.
Schroeder has come in with a score-first mentality, and I think that's what's disappointing to me with that signing. Yes, that was his role in Detroit coming off of the bench, but it was very clear what the leaders and the best players on this team needed and wanted, and how that wasn't outlined to him. I don't know how that happens, because he's capable of doing it. We've seen it on certain nights, but Grant, when I think about him, I think about all of the bad three-pointers before I think about the really good dishes at times, getting to the cup easily, and that was the last thing this team needed more of.
We'll talk about this again in the next segment. 49ers talk coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll also check in on the Warriors. If you're a fan of the Warriors from Larry Krueger's perspective, really big-time Bay Area sports personality, has a great podcast. That's coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll take a time out. We'll continue this conversation at 916-779-0929 on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Hey, remember tonight at 7 o'clock, I will be over on YouTube and X with my Open Forum Wednesday. We can check in on the mighty, great event that is called the NBA Cup. Yeah. Suns Thunder. Spurs Lakers, still no Wemby. The Spurs 16-7. The Lakers are 17-6. How many games are the Thunder going to win this year? They're 23-1. What do you think? 70 for sure, right? I mean, you can tell they're going for it. 23-1. So they can lose still 10 more games. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen here. You think they're going to lose 10 more games the rest of the year? Who are they going to lose to? They are so good, and they are set up so well for the future. So anyway, Suns 14-10. I projected that. I loved it. I said I liked the Suns the day the trade was made. I'm like, the Suns just got better. And here's something else about the Suns, right? Doing this without Jalen Green. Keep an eye on the Suns here in the second half of the season. But they're at 14-10. You know, you look at the West standings right now, and Oklahoma City is almost, and again, if SGA were to get hurt, maybe change, but they're going to be the clear number one seed in the West. Maybe overall. I mean, how could they not? The Lakers, surprising to me, at 17-6. See, we always talk about injuries as an excuse. Who's had more injuries to stars than the Lakers? They're 17-6. Denver's 17-6, who the Kings play tomorrow. They've won 3 in a row. Houston is 15-6. They've won 7 of 10. The Spurs have won 7 of 10. They're 16-7. Minnesota is 15-9, and they're in 6th. Then you have Phoenix, 14-10. Golden State, 13-12. Memphis, 11-13. And now Portland, they've fallen a little bit. They've lost 7 of 10. They're 9-15. They're in 10th. To give you an idea, the 10th spot in both conferences, it's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you, that the play-in is just another NBA gimmick. But like, the Bucks are 10-15 in their 10th. Portland is 9-15 in their 10th. Come on. Really? A team from these conferences are going to get a chance to get into the dance? And if I project this out, you're going to have teams in the play-in well below 500? It's awful. It's awful. Then you got all these teams. Dallas, 9-16. Utah, 8-15. Sacramento and the Clippers, 6-18. And New Orleans can see them all at 3-22. New Orleans has the worst record in the NBA. Nobody cares in New Orleans. Nobody goes to the games. I mean, they're just dreadful. Dreadful. Why would you go watch that team play? 2-12 at home, 1-10 on the road. They've lost 7 in a row. Williamson gets hurt getting out of the shower in the morning. Why would you go watch New Orleans play? So, yeah, that's your situation in the West. Rhino, if you were in New Orleans and someone gave you a ticket for free, would you go to the game?
Yeah, of course. 'Cause I'm a basketball junkie.
Okay. All right.
And I know I can maneuver my way down by the court somehow.
What happens if they're playing the Washington Wizards? And no Zion Williamson. You're in New Orleans.
Do I have to pay for parking?
No, you can take a taxi from downtown easily to the arena.
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to go see Jeremiah Fears.
You like him.
I do. I just think it's nuts that Joe Dumars went all in this last draft and traded away that unprotected first-round pick.
Unbelievable to me.
To Atlanta.
I know. Is that incredible or what?
For Derek Queen, who's been in and out of the lineup, starting to play a little bit better. But
he had a triple-double the other night, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
But 3-22. What do you need the most, especially with Zion probably leaving New Orleans? You need a draft pick, a first-round draft pick. Would have been a high one, too.
Yep. Yeah.
So, okay, I have a question for you. Since the Kings are sitting right there with the Clippers at 6 wins, will the Kings finish ahead of the Clippers this year?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I think the Clippers are going to wave the white flag here really, really soon. So I will say yes. What about you?
I say yes as well. I think we have not hit rock bottom in LA. You've still got the investigation hanging over their heads.
Yep.
Not a good time right now to be a Clippers fan.
Nope. And you look at Harden, you look at Leonard, right? And I can't imagine. I just don't see that ending well there. So I will say yes. I think the Kings are going to end up third worst in the West.
And I think, don't you think Dallas is going to be better? Dallas
Well,
will
they just
get in.
lost Derek Lively for the year.
Yeah.
Foot surgery. That's going to hurt. They're 9-16. I got to see Dallas in person a little bit more. I mean,
True.
again, we talk about a team that's been completely decimated by injuries. So I can't answer that question because I don't know if Anthony Davis, number one, is going to be able to stay healthy, or number two, is he going to be on Dallas, or is he going to be moved?
It's a good point. It's a very good point. Build young around Cooper Flag.
Because if, and again, I'm saying if Davis is healthy and remains on the team, I think they'll end up ahead of Sacramento. By the way, speaking of Cooper Flag, and you talk about an 18-year-old, which is still amazing. It's amazing. When you look at Cooper, I think he's going to be 19 here in a couple of days. Have you watched him play much? And if so, what do you think? He, for the year, is shooting 48%, very poor from three at 25%. Overall, averaging 17 minutes in 30, well, I think, let's see, he's averaging 30, almost 34 minutes a game, 47% floor, 25% from three, good free throw shooter at 82%, 6.5 boards, 3.5 assists. You give him a really good grade through the first part of the season at 25 games at 9-16. What's your grade for Cooper Flag through 25 games?
I don't give him a bad grade. I give him a B-.
Okay.
Here's why. Teams are making him the center of the scout for most of the games because you've had Kyrie out, you've had AD out, you've had some of the other bigs out, and Klay Thompson isn't the Klay that he used to be. And on top of that, you've asked Cooper to play a little bit out of position and be a ball handler and be a point guard many times, which some people are arguing Jason Kidd has hurt him by doing that in Dallas. But I think as you see guys come back, what he's gone through early on in the season will pay off in leaps and bounds when he becomes the second guy on the scout list, third guy on the scout list.
Interesting. Right now, and again, it's only 25 games, but we're approaching 1/3 of the season. Right now, today, through a third of the season almost, who's your rookie of the year?
Right now, as we sit?
Yes, right now.
Con Knipple.
I would agree. Who's second?
Jeremiah, well, his team's so bad. That's a great question. I can't put VJ over Cooper. I think it's Coop and then VJ.
Dylan Harper's playing well now.
Yeah, he is. He is playing well. I don't know if I put him number 2. Do you?
No.
How do you see it?
I'm thinking I go with you right now with your order. So, I don't look just at scoring. There's a lot of other elements, but that's generally who wins the Rookie of the Year. So a lot of things will change with more experience. Some players take longer to get acclimated. Very interesting, that's for sure. But I'm with you, and I think that the question is, will Max Reynaud be either first or second All-NBA rookie? And I said that I thought he would be second. That was my bold prediction, and I'm still going to stick to that. I think he can make second All-NBA rookie team.
Yeah, I think if Max continues starting and he just maintains what he's doing right now, which I think he will get better as the season goes along, you're going to see him in the All-Star rookies versus the rookies versus the second-year guys, whatever they do. He'll get an invite to that.
Yeah. You know who else we forgot? Cedric Howard of Memphis is playing very well.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a top 5 rookie so far.
That's very true.
Edgecombe's a top 5 rookie so far. And I think probably Jeremiah Fears is right now the 5th guy on that list.
Yeah, you've got to put him in the conversation. He looks like well, I'm not going to make that comparison quite yet, but yes, he does look really good. Speaking of Max, something that a lot of the fans have been pointing at, and we've breached the conversation here a few times. We'll get into it in hour number 2 after Larry Krueger. Is Doug going to be able to play Max with Domantas Sabonis when he comes back?
That's a great question. Great question. Speaking of Larry Krueger, we have a lot of 49ers talk with Krug coming up here in the next segment. The 49ers coming off a bye week, which I think is the perfect time for them. I think they're really set up well. Really good time to have a bye week. Larry Krueger with his podcast, The Krug Show, on YouTube, doing great. That's coming up next. My former intern, Larry Krueger. I might share a story with Larry that I've never told him before that he might be blown away to hear. We'll see. I got to decide if I'm going to go there or not. That's next right here. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. The holidays may feel far away, but the best dates are filling fast. At Bennett's, we make every celebration effortless. Host your holiday parties in our elegant private dining rooms, or let us bring the chef-crafted catering right into your home or office. From family dinners to company parties, our team delivers the flavors, service, and holiday magic your guests will remember. Secure your holiday celebration today with Bennett's at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Moving right along here in hour number 2. 49ers coming off a bye week, I think, at the perfect time. Tennessee at the Colts, Bears at home, and that game at the end of the year against Seattle, that could be a big one and a dandy. Larry Krueger, absolute pleasure to have Larry, who was an intern of mine back at Channel 31 in the day. You got to check out his podcast if you don't already do so, The Krug Show. It is awesome. He's killing it over on YouTube. Big time Bay Area sports personality. Larry Krueger on the show. How are you, buddy?
Grant, man, great to hear your voice. Awesome that you're back on the radio. One of the true injustices has been corrected. So I'm always here for you. I always love talking sports with you. I got to tell you, we haven't talked in a few weeks, but my youngest son, is actually switching from baseball to lacrosse this spring. And I'm like, hey, Dad played lacrosse, and reminds me of me and you. We used to throw the lacrosse ball around at Sac State back in the day. It seems like just yesterday, man. Time has really flown by.
Wow, I love that. That's great, and I'm happy that he's taken up lacrosse. What a great sport, as you know. Larry, I really thought when Nick Bosa went down, okay, that's not good. Then Fred Warner went down. I'm like, that's it. And I maybe sold this team short, and I know that they still have issues, but I want to start with the coaching. You've covered the 49ers for a long time. When you look at the overall job this year that Kyle Shanahan's doing, what Robert Saleh is doing with the defense, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, you got to give those guys A+, yes?
No doubt. It doesn't stop there because Brant Boyer, I think, has been a real key as they were bad forever on special teams, and Boyer has come in, changed the culture. They lucked out and found Eddie Pinheiro in week 2. I mean, that's unbelievable. He's 22 of 22. Sky Moore, I talked to him at his locker today. He really didn't come on as a return man until this year. And we talked a little bit today about how Andy Reid said, hey, just because one door closes doesn't mean that, sometimes trades can be a really good thing for your career. And man, Andy was prophetic because this kid has come over here. He's established himself as one of the better return men in the league. So now they're no longer an embarrassment on special teams. And Robert Saleh has done an amazing job. And he's doing it a little bit with smoke and mirrors because he's got no Warner, he's got no Bosa, Mikael Williams out for the year. And he's mixed up his blitz rate. He's got both, this last couple games, he's blitzed like one time. But then against the Rams a few weeks ago, he blitzed 48%, highest rate, blitz rate since he's been with the Niners. So he's just trying everything, seeing what works. Some guys he's going to blitz, some guys he's not. He's trying to mix it up a little bit. But I credit Robert Saleh and Brant Boyer for kind of shouldering the load. And then you got Shanahan, who's got a chip on his shoulder. He's probably one of the best coaches in football to not have a ring. Yep. He knows it, and he's been denied, and he's hungry. So I think the trio has made this the best coaching staff in San Francisco during this regime, and they've had some good ones.
Kyle Shanahan to me is Andy Reid before Andy Reid won a Super Bowl. Seriously. I mean, that's where he's at. And then you look at Andy Reid when he got the first one and you see what's happened. That's how I equate Shanahan. All right, so what's the ceiling here? I mean, could you see the 49ers, assuming they get into the playoffs, because they haven't clinched yet, but we think they will, could you see them make a run in January? Do they have what it would take to do that, in your opinion?
Well, not really. If everybody's at full flight, I think they're going to need the pack to come back to them. And when I say that, I mean, they're going to need some of these other teams to have some injuries to even the playing field. We saw Detroit lost Brian Branch last week. I'm not rooting for injuries, but I just think reality is that the Rams are the best team in the conference. And I think if the Rams and the Niners played 10 times in the playoffs, I think the Rams would probably win 8, maybe 9.
Wow.
So, I think the Rams are better. Even though the Rams, the Niners beat the Rams with Mac Jones and their division opponents, and Shanahan has a great record against McVay. But, I mean, right now, Stafford's a future Hall of Famer, and their defensive line's playing great, and they're number 1 in the league in fewest penalties, and They're just doing a lot of things right. I think top to bottom, the Rams look like the best team in the conference. If they can avoid the Rams or get lucky and somebody else beats the Rams, I think, yes. If you say to me who's going to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, to me it's going to be the Rams or the 49ers. I don't really believe in the other teams in the NFC.
Okay, I like Seattle, but here's the problem I have with Seattle. I don't trust Sam Darnold in a big spot, but I like their team, but that's an issue for me.
Right. And also their run game is kind of comes and goes. They're also, you know what, I mean, this is crazy to say this because it sounds like, heresy, but that place is not nearly as tough to play as it used to be. I mean, it used to be a tougher place to play. And I don't know what happened to the 12s or whatever, but that's not a hostile place to play. Brock Purdy's never lost there.
That's pretty amazing. They're 4-2 at home. You know what I think? I don't think home field advantage is anything like it used to be. I think the technology with the communication to the quarterback and the defensive captain and everything else, I think it's really changed home field advantage. The silent count. So many teams are so good at that now. I don't see, even in the playoffs, Larry, I don't think it really matters. Like if you're looking at this from San Francisco's perspective, they don't have any problem going on the road. They're 6-2 on the road. The team, they can travel. They can play anywhere. I just don't think home field's like it used to be.
No, I think you're right. And that's probably the main reason for it, too, is the technology.
Yes.
But, I still think, like, if you put Buffalo at home, I think that's an advantage. If you throw conditions in, if the Bears ever really get it really rolling, I think that's going to be a tough place to play in January. But generally, I agree. I don't think the home field is what it used to be.
Larry, you pump out so many shows on the Krug Show on YouTube. And when you started that to where the growth is now, has that blown you away? Because, I think you've got almost 65,000 subscribers. You're killing it, man. How much fun has that been for you and the leeway and the freedom that it gives you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a game changer. I mean, it's to go from employee at a radio station in an industry that's struggling to, being your own boss and working for yourself and, more of an entrepreneurial type spirit. It's been awesome. I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, it's been the happiest I've ever been in my career. And now to be back doing KMBR stuff with the Niners is great. And, it's come full circle. And then the ability to work with my oldest son, Kevin, who's producing.
It's awesome.
He's like the toughest program director I ever worked for. It's like, you think Mike Ramey and Bob Agnew were tough, I'm trying to listen to this kid. This kid's like constantly telling me what to do. But you know what? He's also a smart kid, and it's almost like beta testing because he's right in the demographic at 22 that I'd really like to hit. So if he says it's going to go, it's going to go. So, sometimes you got to know when to shut up and listen.
I got a funny story for you. I've never shared this with you before. So in the early 2000s, for 5 years, I did the Raiders preseason games on TV. And I don't know how this happened, but I end up in a meeting in Alameda in Al Davis's conference room with Al Davis, Jim Plunkett, Tom Flores, Artie Gigantino, George Atkinson, and Greg Papa. And Tom Flores was sitting across from Al, then Jim, then Artie, then George, then I was the last person around the long rectangular table. Al starts off and he asks Plunk, he goes, hey, do you think Charles, talking about Charles Woodson, can play free safety? And then he goes to Flores. Then he goes to whoever's next in line. And then he gets to me. And he goes, Grant, and this is when you had just lost your job at KMBR. And he says to me, Grant, what do you think of the decision and what happened to Larry Krueger to lose his job? He asked me that question, and I answered the question, right? Remember? I mean, it's amazing to me. Did you have much interaction with Al when you were in the Bay Area? Do you have any Al Davis stories? Because I was blown away that, first of all, I was in that conversation with him, and then that he asked me about you.
I worked for the Sacramento Gold Miners out of college, right? After I interned with you, I left college and I worked with the Sacramento Gold Miners, and Kay Stevenson was the head coach.
Yeah.
And the I was the assistant linebacker coach, assistant to the defensive coordinator, defensive quality control, player personnel. I did it all. And my boss was Bill Urbanic, and Bill left the Gold Miners and went to the Raiders. And so I went over to Alameda when Billy was working for the Raiders and I was on KMBR. And when he needed extra eyes to get through some of his projects and personnel, he would have me watch some film with him. So I went over there and watched film with him, and over there I met Mr. Davis a couple of times. So yes, I crossed paths with Mr. Davis.
Very interesting.
So, I need to know more though. So Al Davis asked this question.
He asked me, he goes, what do you think? What do you think of Larry Krueger losing his job at KMBR? And I answered the question. I said, Mr. Davis, I said, I have personally, when I'm on the radio, I have a simple rule. I don't talk about someone's ethnicity. I don't talk about someone's religion. And I don't talk about someone's sexual orientation. I stay away from that. And that's how I handle that. And Al says to me, he goes, Grant, I really love that answer. I really like how you said that. And that's all he said. He didn't say I agree with you. He just said, hey, I love that. I love that. So yeah.
Wow.
I just was blown away because he wasn't going to ask me about how I felt, whether Charles could play safety. You know, he wasn't going to ask me that question. So he asked me a different question. I mean, you know this. There was nothing that happened in the Raiders organization without Al being on top of it. I was doing a game in Houston once in the preseason. It was the week, I don't know if you remember this, but Randy Moss had just been on HBO Real Sports doing an interview with Brian Gumbel and admitted to smoking pot, right? So that was a big story back then. And we're playing the Texans, and I had gone out to lunch, and I come back, and someone comes up to me in the lobby to go, hey, Al is looking for you. Here's his room number. You need to call him right away. So I go up to my room, and I call Al's room, and he goes, hello. I go, Mr. Davis, how are you? This is Grant Napear. He goes, Grant, how are you today? I go, I'm fine, sir. He said, Grant, this is how you're going to handle the Randy Moss situation on TV tonight. You understand? I said, yes, sir. He said, this is what you're going to say. And then he said, are you writing this down? And I had a piece of paper and a pencil right there on the table next to the bed, and I wrote it down word for word. Larry, very rarely do I ever write anything down. I mean, I just never have. And at the end of it, Al says to me, now, Grant, what are you going to say when you get on TV tonight? And I had literally, I had every word on a piece of paper, and I read it back to him. And Al goes, that's right. And he goes, Grant, when you get done with the opening statement, you're not going to talk about Randy Moss the rest of the game. You're not even going to mention his name. Do you understand? I said, yes, sir. He goes, okay, Grant, I'll see you at the game. Have a great day. I said, thank you, Mr. Davis. But I mean, Larry, he was in every single aspect of that organization.
There's no question. I remember him coming into the facility. We were there. It was 11 o'clock at night, and he starts talking about how the team's a bunch of Hessian soldiers. You know, he was a great war historian buff, and he was talking to me about how they're a bunch of Hessian soldiers. And it's funny because we were watching film the year that the Raiders took Ricky Dudley, and this was 2 weeks before the draft, and he said to me, because I'm there watching with Urbanic, he's like, what do you think of Ricky Dudley? And I said, well, you know, it's funny. I put a lot of credence in how he plays against the biggest games on his schedule. So I put a lot of credence for the Buckeye players and how they play against Michigan. And he was terrible in that game. Balls were clanking off him. He looked terrible. He couldn't catch a cold. I don't trust those ball skills. He's like, okay, noted. Then he's like, Billy, this kid's sharp. And then literally 2 weeks later, they drafted him. And, you know,
that's
the rest
amazing.
Is history, Ricky Dudley.
Wow. Larry, I
want to
ask.
Great Raider, but.
Oh, great stories. I want to ask you, as we're talking with Larry Krueger here on Fox Sports Sacramento, I want to talk to you about the Warriors. And I was talking about this with Damon Bruce. I am not a red flag guy. I stay away from players with red flags. And when I look at Jonathan Kuminga, there are just too many red flags. Because to me, without knowing what's going on behind the scenes there, if you can't play for the Warriors and can't play for Steve Kerr, I have a problem with that. And the reason why I'm asking you this, as you well know, there have been ongoing rumors about the Kings and the Warriors making a deal and Kuminga coming to Sacramento. Personally, I wouldn't want Kuminga if I'm the Kings or a Kings fan. How do you view Jonathan Kuminga?
Do you like Nick Clifford?
I tell you, to this point, he's been disappointing, but I like the skill set that he has. I am alarmed to a degree that the Kings are so bad and he's not getting a lot of minutes, which I have been harping on. I don't understand that. But to answer your question simply, yes, I do like Nick Clifford.
Well, I think they're similar. I mean, I think they're athletic, uber athletic wings that can play up tempo ball and fill the wing and run the floor and potentially be good two-way players. I mean, Kuminga is inconsistent. I mean, one night he just needs to get in a place where he's got the freedom. There's a lot of restrictions. We always talk about the benefit, the gravity of Steph, and it's all true, but it's also difficult to play with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and veteran players who are doing their thing. And some guys suffer fools gladly in life. They don't suffer fools gladly in basketball. And I just feel like they haven't given him a wide enough berth to really develop. They've yanked his sheets left and right. They've mismanaged him Kerr's a great coach who's mismanaged the hell out of that kid's career. So I hear you. I'd be a little skeptical of paying an obscene price for him in a trade or in free agency because he's a real bouncy athlete that I think that's a big part of his skill set. And as he ages, he's going to lose some of that bounce like a Levine. But I kind of think that if you get the right situation, whoever gets Kuminga next is going to get something really pretty good. I think he kind of reminds me of like a little bit stronger version of Gerald Wallace. And I think Gerald Wallace could do some good things. So, I mean, there's worse players than Jonathan Kuminga. There is some inconsistency. He's maddening to coach for Kerr. He needs a change of scenery. But I do think that the price tag is probably beneath the player at this point, and whoever's going to get him next is going to pay probably a pretty low price, and they're going to get a motivated player who's got a lot of talent and has that confidence. He really believes he's a great player, and there's something to say for that. And I just think that he needs a change of scenery, man.
So on your podcast in the Krug Show, and you have a tremendous understanding of the Bay Area sports fan and Warrior fans. What do you think the majority of Warrior fans feel about Kuminga? What's the pulse?
I think it's split. I think there are people that feel like they should have moved on from Kerr, even though Kerr obviously is one of the great coaches in NBA history. That he doesn't play young players, and it goes beyond Jonathan Kuminga, and he's not good at developing the youth player. So you'd roll
the dice. What you're telling me is, if you're a general manager, you would roll the dice and you would say, "Yeah, let's grab him."
Well, what's the price? I mean, from what I'm hearing, the price tag's pretty low. I mean, give me the return and let's have a conversation. Because if the return is the guy, the twin, no, I'm keeping him. I'm keeping Keegan Murray. Okay. I'm not moving Keegan Murray.
Yeah, no way I'm trading Keegan Murray.
If you move Keegan Murray, you're a fool and you probably deserve to be fired.
Yeah.
But is there another deal out there that could be made? I mean, the Warriors don't need Malik Monk. I mean, is Sacramento, what's Sacramento's stance on Sabonis? Where's his next home? Because if Sabonis is in the deal, then what other piece besides Kuminga has to be in the deal? And I think if it was a deal centered around Kuminga and Sabonis, I think the Warriors would do it.
I wouldn't trade Sabonis for Kuminga on any situation at any time. I mean, that would be ridiculous. And I know that you're bringing that up because it has been talked about. I like Sabonis. I think he is a really good player. I think he's underappreciated personally. I don't think he gets the respect around the league. I think he was snubbed in the last 2 years. He should have been an all-star. There was no doubt about it in my mind. He's been a 3-time all-star. No way in the world. If I'm Sacramento, I'm having Sabonis in a deal for Kuminga. That's a hang up the phone issue for me.
Yeah, but I mean, like Malik Monk doesn't work for Golden State because they don't need another 6'3" guy who likes to move it. So I mean, I've heard a lot of Malik Monk. I've heard, I mean, what is Sacramento planning? What would you offer for Kuminga? And I'd love to know because that to me, I just don't think Sacramento and the Warriors really align. I could see him going to New Orleans. I could see him going, to Chicago.
Here's the problem I have with Kuminga. Really. Here's the problem I have. The Kings are a dysfunctional organization. They have been for a long time. And I don't think I wouldn't want a player with the issues that he's had in Golden State, regardless of what the reason is. I don't want to put a player with, and I'm going to use the term red flags, in a bad situation. I could see it being good for a while. I could see it being good for the rest of this season, but I don't see it being good long term. And I've been around too many players where when it goes bad and you're stuck with them, it is a disaster. I would stay away from him if I'm Sacramento, personally. That's me.
Sacramento usually doesn't have a lot of great options.
Yeah. What about DeRozan? All right, what about DeRozan?
Yeah, I mean, to me that makes perfect sense to me, especially if you're trying to win now. But man, that really is giving away. I mean, you're talking about trading a guy at the beginning for a guy at the end. They did that with Poole and Paul, and God, that didn't work. So I don't know. I mean, you got to remember this about the Warriors: they have an opulent arena, and they've got an eroding product. So they're very afraid to just, tank and picks and all
Great
that.
point.
I mean, they won't be there's not going to be a massive sell-off.
Great point.
Because Joe needs to fill that expensive arena, and people will just not go if they really backslide. So it's a tough time, because I talked to somebody with the Warriors the other day, and they said, "Hey, look, we've won our titles." And I get it, but you're still charging $52 for 3 tall beers. And, it's hard to get people to go for that sometimes when they're watching Pat Spencer. No offense, Pat Spencer.
Great point. Speaking of lacrosse, have him work with your son.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Larry,
what an athlete he is, by the way.
My gosh.
You're an awesome lacrosse player. I mean, we don't even talk about it. If that guy went down to the Panhandle or someplace, that guy could probably make more money just taking people's money. I mean, he just is an awesome. He'd go down there and school anybody.
Yeah, I love it, Larry. It's great having you on, buddy. I'm so happy for all of your success. Merry Christmas, buddy, and let's do it again in not too distant future. You be good.
Hey, you're the best, Grant. Anytime. Always love rapping with you. You're the best.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the heck out of you. Take care, Larry Krueger. Good stuff right there. Really good stuff. Love it when we can talk with him. We'll open up the phone lines, 916-779-0929. This is the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more light.
Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You know, it's amazing when I reflect back on my career and how many people, like, I have worked with in one form or another. Like when Larry Kruger was my intern, I'm like, this guy's going to be really good. It's the same thing when Eric Hasseltine, and there are so many others that have been interns of mine where I'm like, oh, wow, that guy's or gal. I've had, women intern for me, and I've like, wow, that person is going to do really, really well in this business. You just know. And Larry was one of those individuals. Really happy for him. Really happy for him. And his podcast is incredible. It's great. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Speaking of YouTube and X, I'll be on there at 7 o'clock tonight with my Open Forum Wednesday. So be sure and join me there. The Kings tomorrow and the Nuggets post-game show with Rhino, Jerry Reynolds, myself, right after the game. We'll see if the Kings can beat the Nuggets for the second time in a row. No fatigue in this game. You're going to see the A version of Denver, in my opinion, in all likelihood. I think you're going to see the real Denver Nuggets tomorrow. I'm not saying the Kings can't win. That's not what I'm saying. I just think, Rhino, you beat them the last time, and I don't think you're going to beat the team that's the second best in the West 2 times in a row. I think it's unlikely. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill task for them. Jamal Murray has been playing really well as of late.
He's good, isn't he? I mean, he was so good in the playoff run and when they won the finals. He's really a difficult matchup, and he does pretty much everything. I'm a huge fan of his. I don't think he gets enough credit. I really don't, because Nikola Jokic gets all the credit on that team. But boy, is he good.
At the 2 most important positions on the basketball court, you have 2 of the highest IQ players playing together, arguably in the NBA. They are so well off of each other. And when you play in the Nuggets, Grant, you know what it's all about. It's about winning the minutes that Jokic isn't on the floor.
Well, Aaron Gordon still out. He's not going to be back for a couple of weeks. They're playing without Christian Braun, who is still out with an ankle. So they're not even playing right now anywhere near full strength, similar to the Kings. But they've now won 3 in a row, although they haven't really played. They won 4 or 5. They won at Phoenix 130-112. They lost to Dallas 131-121. They won at Indiana by 15. They won at Atlanta in a close game by a point. And then they won at Charlotte. So, they're not playing great. Listen, you take Aaron Gordon off any lineup, and that's going to impact you greatly, and especially against the Kings. He's a nightmare for the Kings.
And especially coming off of the importance. I thought Aaron Gordon's role took a step up. I thought his play took a step up last postseason and continued into this season before he got hurt with what he does for that team. Just incredible. So, yeah, you're going to miss him. And this is one of those games, too, where you got to make sure, and we say it all the time, but Max tries his best to stay out of foul trouble. Doug's talked about this a couple times where Max likes to go for the pump fakes, and you can't do that with Jokic. He'll be right past you.
From the 209, crazy how Jamal Murray has never made an all-star team. That is, isn't it?
It's insane, actually.
I know.
It speaks to the talent in the West at the guard position.
Yeah. Well, SGA and Curry are always on there. Luka's going to be on there, so that's 3 before you even, move down the pike. And so, yeah, there's been a logjam of really, really good guards in the West, and I think Murray gets overlooked because of Joker.
So ridiculous that they don't expand the rosters to 15 for
Yeah.
both teams.
Yeah. It is ridiculous.
It's silly.
If that were the case, Sabonis would have had 2 more All-Stars. I mean, there's no way Sabonis should not have been on the All-Star team last year and the year before. There's no reason for it.
No, and even with last year, they could have done what that same format was by taking just the winning team or whatever it was, taking the 4 best players or however you wanted to do it, and then you can have those extra spots for the both teams.
Do you think the 49ers will win more than one playoff game in January?
There's something about them this year, Grant. Every year they have been expected to get to the game, and a lot of Niners fans have expected them to win the game. I kind of feel like there's a different magic there. Like the pressure is not there, yet their back is against the wall, whereas the pressure a couple of years ago was there. So I think they will. How about you?
I think they're going to win a game, and then I think they'll lose the following week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assuming that they make it. They're not guaranteed to make it, but I'm projecting their schedule and how well they're playing, and I think that they will. And they're playing the Colts at the right time. I mean, if you had played the Colts earlier in the year, you probably wouldn't win that game, or you would be more challenging. So I was watching the Phillip Rivers press conference. Did you see how big he looks?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Oh, a little bit of a change, huh?
Wow. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see if he steps onto they still don't know what's going to happen this week at the quarterback position for the Colts as we sit here and talk in the middle of the week.
Well, Riley Leonard's your better option if you can play.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can, in fact, what they want to do, Sean talked about this, Sean Salisbury yesterday, you have to change the playbook with Phillip Rivers. You don't have to do that as much with Riley Leonard because that's what he does. He's an RPO guy and run pass option. For those that don't know what that means, that's what he did at Notre Dame and thrived.
Well, you're right. 2 completely different styles. And again, when you look at the roster of the Colts and their decimated injuries, I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, it really is at the quarterback position. So it will be very interesting if he gets on the field. I mean, all eyes are going to be on Rivers. It's going to be a big-time story, and we'll be talking about it, obviously, on Monday, big time.
I mean, Grant, you're not going to, as a semifinalist in the Hall of Fame voting this round right now, come out and start that time clock over not to get a snap. He's going to get a snap.
I know, because he'd have to wait 5 more years again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he does have to wait 5 more years.
He does have to wait. He's signed now on a team. He does have to wait. So, obviously, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer anyway. I think he's borderline. All right, now I'll ask you. Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson, of those 2, who are you putting in the Hall of Fame? If you could only choose one.
Phillip Rivers.
Okay.
Consistency.
All right.
Multiple places.
Okay.
He had big shoes to fill, and I was in San Diego when it happened, when Drew Brees left. And not only did he fill them, he changed the shoes, actually. He changed the way that offense functioned and to the team brought a toughness that was a standard.
He had a heck of a career. I mean, there's no doubt about that. They just could not get over the hump. And in the playoffs, whether it was an injury or this or that, they couldn't get over the hump. They just couldn't do it.
So I don't know if you saw this, but it looks like, Vivek Ranadive tweeted a video on Instagram. It includes Barry Bonds. It includes some other notable athletes pushing for Roger Craig to get into the Hall of Fame in football. What's your take on Roger Craig not being in?
Why do you got to have Barry Bonds in the video?
I'll get you all the different names. Barry Bonds, Russell Westbrook was in there. Vivek, obviously.
Well, Rodgers worked with Vivek, and when Vivek first bought the team, Roger Craig was on his arm everywhere he went. I mean, everywhere. If you saw Vivek, you saw Roger Craig on his arm. I'm a huge Roger Craig fan. I covered him. I've interviewed him a number of times. In my opinion, he is a Hall of Famer. He is. The problem with him, and it's not his problem, it was the problem. He played on an offense and on a football team full of Hall of Famers, and for that reason, I don't think he got in. But to me, when I think about Roger Craig, I mean, if you're going to put Terrell Davis in the Hall of Fame for the Broncos,
Yeah.
you got to put Roger Craig in my opinion.
Yep. Shaq is also featured in there. Kerry Walsh Jennings, beach volleyball gold medalist. It's just kind of random. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very random.
Unbelievable.
But it makes sense now that you said that he had a relationship with Roger Craig.
I very rarely saw Vivek Ranadive anywhere without Roger Craig on his arm. First of all, you know Vivek, he doesn't go anywhere alone. He has to have famous people around him all the time, whether he's at a game, whatever. You know that. I mean, that's what he's all about.
Yes.
Again, this video is a perfect illustration of that, and I haven't even seen it.
I'm kind of impressed that he got Barry Bonds out of hiding. I know Barry's been at
Barry Bonds has been to many Kings games,
Yeah, I
and
know.
he's been with Vivek. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Jeff Kent, any issues there with him going into
No,
the MLB
he is a Hall of
Fame?
Famer. I don't have any issues at all. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. To me, I think of Jeff Kent. I think he is a Hall of Famer. We'll come back and we'll wrap up this second hour. I've got Grant's Rant coming up to start off hour number 3. What's that? Oh, I got to do a read. My wingman's telling me, don't break yet. You got to do a read. I will do that in a moment. Thank you for the reminder. I certainly appreciate that because I would have forgotten that because we're talking about all of these famous people, once again, centered around the Sacramento Kings owner. You want my opinion on this, Ronald, before I do the read? I haven't seen the video, so I'm only going by what you told me. I think it's more important for Vivek to be seen in the video with all of these people than it is for Roger Craig to be into the Hall of Fame. That's what I think.
Not a bad take. Not a bad take.
Village Financial Group. Never want to forget about them. Never want to forget about Spencer and his family-owned business for 25 years when it comes to buying a home, selling a home equity line of credit. He's very experienced, and he is a specialist. He's very creative, a financing specialist. And folks, keep this in mind. Spencer at Village Financial Group, broker-owner, has access to private money. Text him, call him, 916-805-4868 for all of your real estate needs. That's 916-805-4868. And if you go on their website, vfgloans.com, you will find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence or text Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Now we'll take that break, and we'll get you right up until Grant's Rant in about 20 minutes. Your phone calls, your text messages at 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
It's the All Things Legal Show, heard every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Join your host, Craig Ashton, with an entertaining and eclectic view of all things legal. Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Nine 916-779-0929. Talking about the 49ers. Roger Craig brought up to me. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? Kings and Nuggets tomorrow. We'll be on right after the game. Post-game show. Rhino, Jerry, myself. We'll see if the Kings, after a couple of days off, can get back on a winning note. And the home court continues to be such a problem for Sacramento. It is such an issue. It's very puzzling how bad they have been on their home floor for a lot of their games this year. How many times they've been blown out at home. It's very alarming. That needs to change. And I don't know if I expect it tomorrow, because the one thing we do know about the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic will have a big game. The question is, will Jamal Murray and a supporting cast have a big game? Because you know Joker's going to have a big game. That's almost taken. That's a given, Rhino. He's going to get his numbers. Doesn't matter how you defend him. That's what's going to happen. And if you do try to take the ball out of his hands, he's going to end up with 15 assists. I mean, the guy is special.
Bingo. That's the thing. Let him score. Let him score 50 points. You're better off. To your point, the Kings at home this season, they're in minus 12.1.
Wow.
You know what they are on the road? Minus 9.6. For me, Grant, looking at the problems at home, I can't remember the last time the Kings didn't dig themselves a hole right out of the gate at home. That was the story of the last homestand.
Yeah. First quarter, you talk about it, right? How many times do we talk about it? Playing way, you're coming from way behind. We talk about it all the time. Like, there are so many issues with this team and the starting lineup. And right now, you don't know what's going on with Zach LaVine, right? You just don't.
Yeah.
You don't know, is Nick Clifford going to play minutes? Is Keon going to get? I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason with what's going on with the team currently. It's very frustrating for a lot of fans.
Scott Perry, as you mentioned on the flagship earlier today, said that both him and Doug are big Keon guys. I'm paraphrasing here. They like Keon. Obviously, Doug knows him more than Scott does, but it's a circumstance thing. There's a backlog of minutes, and Doug will push the right buttons under different situations and matchups. And, Keon's button will definitely be pushed at some point more.
Really? How's that going to happen when maybe tomorrow Dennis Schroeder is back with
Right.
Westbrook. How's that going to happen?
See,
Explain that to me.
And that, to me, again, I've been saying it since Schroeder's been out. That's the litmus test. Is there going to be minutes coming away from Westbrook? Is there going to be minutes coming away from Levine as Schroeder comes back? Or is that just going to take one of the younger guys completely out of the rotation?
Well, I know one thing. You can only play 5 guys at once. And Jerry Reynolds said it's not Little League baseball. Not everybody gets to play 3 innings. You have 48 minutes to divvy up. And right now, even without Dennis Schroeder, Keon's not playing a lot. So how's he going to get onto the floor?
Yeah, same thing. When Dennis is there, Neek's minutes have been 6 to 8 minutes, if at all. Getting minutes
it doesn't
when
make
it's
sense.
meaningful. Yeah, Doug's just going to have to, and I shouldn't say have to. I'm not an NBA coach, but I think I speak for a lot of the fan base in saying when Zach LaVine doesn't have it going, when DeMar DeRozan doesn't have it going, and the other guys do, you have to give them the runway. You can't make them look over their shoulders. You can't have the fans into the game and then all of a sudden tighten up, Grant, as you get into crunch time and bring those guys back. Let it ride through.
What'd you think of Nick Clifford playing with the Stockton Kings last night?
I thought he looked good. I thought he was fine.
Well, he should.
Yes. I'm not. When those guys go down and they play in Stockton, I'm not looking at the points. The points to me should be a given. And Devin, I believe, had 25, Neek 16. I'm looking at the assists. I'm looking at the turnovers. I'm looking at the rebounds. Those are the areas that the Kings are looking at. They know they can score against lesser talent.
It's a confidence booster. That's why you put him down there.
No doubt. No doubt.
He played 33 minutes, 6 of 13, 16 points, 7 rebounds.
And I like that. The one thing I did not like about Devin, he only had 2 assists. I did not.
Devin last night had 2 assists and 25 points, 7 of 19, and he did not shoot the 3 well, and he talked about that.
He did. That is correct.
Now, I didn't watch the game, so I can't comment on this. The Kings shot only 43% and 26% from beyond 3. So you talk about he only had 2 assists. Did he only have 2 assists because his teammates that he passed the ball to missed shots? Or did he only have 2 assists because he wasn't passing the ball? Like, that's a statistic that you have to examine. If you're only shooting 43% from the field and you're only 9 of 35 from 3, how many assists are you going to have?
It's an excellent point. It's an excellent point. One thing that I'll also point out as well, Stockton plays at a high pace. You hear Doug talk about this 94 feet stuff. It's what Stockton does. And so you look at the total field goals, they shot 93 shots. So when Neek and Devin are down there, they're getting a taste of that. And I wonder if that can carry in and benefit the Kings, or if that kind of changes things up and confuses it for them, Grant, because Stockton's the model for that.
Well, you talk about Cardwell. I mean, last night he had 12 points and 18 rebounds, but he did turn the ball over 5 times, and that has to come down. But, I mean, he was a monster on the glass last night with 18 boards.
Yeah, he is he's just unpolished. That's how I would put it. He is a raw, strong guy that can move people around. You've got to get him polished around the rim. You have to get him polished. A little bit more, how do you put this, Grant? Not so robotic, I guess, if that's the term. You got to get him a little bit more looser. And I think that's going to come. He was coached by Bruce Pearl, Auburn. He's got plenty of pedigree, and he's got the body for sure.
All right. Again, the Kings and the Denver Nuggets tomorrow. Then Minnesota. You had those 2 games added to the schedule. Not exactly great, but at this point, I've been saying this, I don't even think the schedule matters anymore. It's about how the Kings are going to play, and are they going to find any degree of consistency? I guess that's my biggest issue through the first 24 games. There's been absolutely no consistency to this team at all in any way, shape, or form, other than their inconsistency in all areas.
Could we say the same about the last 2.5 seasons?
You probably could, but I don't think to this degree.
Not to this degree. Correct.
Right.
Correct. But you've been leading up to it, because what have we said? What do the Kings hang their hat on? We asked that question last year. and there was not a positive rung to hang your hat on. It was inconsistency, bad 3-point shooting. That's where it's got to start, Grant. We're talking about this big word, identity. Okay, well, there's a lot of things that go into that. Can we at least focus on one rung of the ladder and start from there? I mean, where does that start, Grant? Is that the defensive end? Is it the hustle?
It doesn't start in just one area. For me, it's going to start by calling Russell Westbrook into my office and going, hey, you want to go play somewhere else? I've got to start playing these younger players. You've been great, but we owe it to you just for the way you've approached everything. Do you want us to release you so you can catch on with another team? That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm going full bore into, here we go. Max, you're playing 30 minutes tonight. Neek, you're playing 30 minutes a night. Devin, I'm putting you into the rotation. Don't look over your shoulder. You're going to get some run. You know, maybe it's not going to be 30 minutes. Maybe it's not going to be 20 minutes. But if I put you onto the floor for 6 minutes in the first half and 6 minutes in the second half, I need you to ball out. All right, that's what I need you to do. I'm playing Keon Ellis. I'm playing just different lineups, and I'm playing the players that I think I need to know an answer on them when I get to April in terms of what I'm going to do with this roster. That's what I'm doing. And I'm starting, I would have started weeks ago, but I'm, better late than never. I'm playing Precious. He's going to be part of it. That's the direction I'm going. I'm sorry. And I don't care what the veterans think. I don't care what Levine thinks. I don't care what DeRozan thinks. I don't care what Schroeder thinks. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
Well,
does not matter to me.
And you're right on it. The reality is any identity that these young guys are going to get from the vets right now is going to be behind the scenes. It's going to be locker room. It's going to be practice. It's going to be how you handle your business as a professional, because Zach LaVine, Russell Westbrook, they're not going to be part of this Sacramento identity that Scott Perry envisions, and that, building the foundation, because they're going to be out of the league. They're going to be taking their last contracts. So you're really setting yourself back in reality then, because you're doing a placeholder identity, and then young guys get run and they've got to find a new one.
A lot of interesting things to talk about as you play the 25th game of the year tomorrow, and then you're 2 games away from 1/3 of the season being in the books. 916-779-0929. Got Grant's Rant coming up in a couple of moments. I hope that Patrick is not too disappointed from New York, listening to you both on the brand new i17 phone. Funny, you two sound the same. Yeah, well, technology's great, but I don't know if it's going to make us sound different. I would hope it would make us sound better, but that obviously is not the case, is it? You said that's okay on your second text message. Sorry about that we don't sound better. I hope you enjoy your phone, though.
You almost got it for me. I thought you said i17 phone because you didn't know that it was the iPhone 17, and then I read that it was actually Patrick that put it in that way.
Yeah, he said the i17 Apple phone. That's the way. I read it word for word. I didn't even put Apple in there. Yes.
Good job. Professional right there. That's a professional.
Well, you got to do it. So what would be the correct way to say that? Is we don't want to give them a free plug here, but
it would be the iPhone 17.
Yep. I got you. The
Whatever
iPhone
the model
17.
is. Yeah.
I've only had an Android, Samsung. I've never had a iPhone. Never.
Why do you make life harder?
I don't think it's harder. I love my phone. I love it. Absolutely. The pictures are great. Camera's great. I'm not a sophisticated user of phones. It has everything I want. I'm a huge fan of my phone.
I think Android makes you work harder, not smarter.
How do you know that? Have you had one?
I've had both. Yeah. Okay. Here's what it is. An Android phone operates basically off of, it's a simulation of Windows systems. So if you know how to work a Windows computer, then you're going to be able to understand how an Android computer or phone works.
Really?
More easily. Yes. Correct. The dictations, the clicks to get to different places. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm not going to draw a line in the sand and say you're wrong for being on that side, because I know a ton of people that just love Android, would never go Apple, and then the other side never, ever would go away from Apple.
By the way, we are Going to say hello before I get to the break in Grant's Rant to Baki and our friends over in Serbia, listening to us in the wee hours of the morning on whatever they're listening to, whether it's the stream on YouTube or the app, whatever it is. We want to say hello to Baki and his buddies out and about wherever they're going in Serbia. How about that? We got a huge audience over there, and we love our Serbs. We love them. Love them.
Amen. And the legendary burgers, I guess.
Yeah.
You say it's the best burger you've ever had?
I've ever had. Yep.
You're well traveled.
I am well traveled, and if I could only have one burger the rest of my life, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
Burger.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
Amen.
Yeah. Said, Grant, you sound fine to me in Germany. Thank you, Lynn. I hope you're having a great trip over there. So we got Serbia, Germany. Love it. Love it. Grant's Rant. Coming up next. Looking forward to it. Final hour of the show. Your phone calls. 916-779-0929. This is Fox Sports Sacramento. We're back in just a few moments. Hey, it's Grant Napear for my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NCAA's slow march towards expanding the men's basketball tournament has finally reached a pressure point. After more than a year of discussion, NCAA President Charlie Baker made it clear this week a definitive decision must come by April. The proposal on the table would grow the field from 68 to as many as 76 starting in the 2026 or 2027 season. Is expansion needed? Well, not exactly. If you can't qualify as one of the 68 best teams in the country, tough to claim claim that you were unfairly left out. This is not college football's smaller playoff where the elite teams are squeezed out by limited access. March Madness already cast a wider net. But if you look at it from the fans' perspective, expansion feels like a win. More games, more drama, more chances for March to be madness. Adding more low-ranking programs cannot dilute the magic that makes the bracket so special. If the competition holds up, fans aren't going to be complaining with a bigger March. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
This holiday season, skip the same old gifts and send something that's truly unforgettable. From Heartland Steak Company, we're talking premium, hand-cut Midwestern meats such as USDA Prime and Choice Beef, all-natural pork, and tender chicken, all delivered straight to their door with care and convenience. Whether you're shopping for family, friends, clients, or anyone who appreciates bold flavor and quality meats, Heartland Steak Co. has something for everyone. Choose from Grill Master packages, holiday gift boxes, or freezer fillers, each one hand-picked, flash frozen, and packed to preserve unbeatable freshness and taste. It's the perfect way to share the true Midwest flavor this season. Ordering is quick and easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And when you order right now and spend $199.99 or more, you'll receive free shipping plus $25 off your order with promo code GIFT. Give the gift of flavor this holiday season with Heartland Steak Co. That's heartlandsteakco.com. And don't forget to use promo code GIFT. Taste the Heartland difference.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant's Rant.
Yes, each and every day at 5 o'clock or shortly thereafter, we do a Grant's Rant. What is on the menu today, sir?
Grant, is it really necessary on ESPN.com to put a report out that the Lakers most likely will not be using their NBA Cup court for their quarterfinal matchup? And I will parlay that with Rich Paul, LeBron James's agent, coming out and paraphrasing here. The Lakers do not have enough to win this season, win a championship. How about that? Ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Dan Patrick hit on it right there. Expanding the fields for the NCAA tournament and talk about expanding the college football playoff. It doesn't matter if you expand it to 100 for both events. There's always going to be one team left out. Period. End of story. It just doesn't matter. Keep it the same. And I thought you hit on something really good early in the show. Can we get rid of the NBA play-in? What's the point of it? Go back to the best 8 teams. Do it.
I'm going to stick with the NBA, and I'm going to put 1 and 3 together. Who gives a damn what the court is going to look like? The NBA Cup courts, for the most part, have been an absolute embarrassment. I mean, it's been terrible. I mean, you want to talk about a gimmick, which is the NBA Cup. The fans don't care about the NBA Cup. Nobody cares about it. I don't hear anyone talking about this. All right. It's a mechanism for the players to make more money. That's what it is. And the courts are, for the most part, brutal, ugly to the eye, hard to watch on TV. And now a report comes out that the Lakers are going to be using their regular court. Like, who cares? Seriously. And as far as Rich Paul goes, that's where we're at now with this day and age of super agents, whether it's Jimmy Sexton with all the coaches and all the high profile people that he has, including the latest in being Lane Kiffin, whether it's Scott Boras and Major League Baseball. You know, we can go with the situation last year with De'Aaron Fox. And I mean, it's ridiculous. I got to hear an agent talk about which team has enough and doesn't have enough. Shut up and do your job. That's not your job. Okay. That's not what you're paid to do. All right. That's, you want to talk about crossing a line, stepping over your boundary. That's crossing the line. It really is. It's absurd. Plain and simple. It is absurd. Just like the play-in is absurd. You know what it is? It's a mechanism, okay, to keep fans in certain NBA cities like Sacramento still interested in a bad, inferior product. It's the same reason why the fans in Milwaukee are going to continue to root for their team and the Bulls, who are 9-14, and other teams. It's the reason why, if you're a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, you can't give up yet because you're 9-16 and you're only a half game out of the 10th spot. It's a reason why, if you're a fan of the Jazz and you're 7 games below 500, or you're a delusional fan in LA or Sacramento with the Clippers or the Kings, and you think, yeah, I know our team stinks and we're 6-18, but Grant, we're only 3 games out of the 10th spot. Congratulations. Welcome to the 10th spot in the Western Conference. Your first round matchup might be against Memphis, and maybe you win that game. Then you play the loser of Phoenix and Golden State. Oh, congratulations. You upset them. Now you get a chance to go against one of the great teams that we've ever seen assembled in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oh, and by the way, because of your ability to make the play-in, you have now totally screwed up your odds for the upcoming NBA draft. And so you are once again in no man's land. You're not good enough, barring a good bounce of the ping pong ball, to get one of those studs in the draft out 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You're not there, and you're not good enough to be relevant, get into the top 8, and have a chance to be in the postseason. Actually, you better be in the top 7 this year, because then you have no chance. You're in no man's land. Where have the Kings been for so many years? They're in no man's land. Here comes the lottery. With the 13th overall pick in the NBA draft, the selection goes to the Sacramento Kings. Another year. With the 12th selection in this year's NBA draft, the selection goes to the Sacramento Kings, right? Rarely do the Kings get lucky. And when they do, they take the wrong player. So, yeah. The NBA play-in, not a fan. The NBA Cup, gimmick, gimmick, gimmick. The NBA is turning into a gimmick league. I don't like gimmicks. Never have, never will. I'm not a person that deals in gimmicks. And Rich Paul, good Lord, really? Like, you're a powerful agent? You're going to come out and talk about that the Lakers have enough or don't have enough? Really? Like, that's your role as a prominent agent? Stay in your lane, would you please? And that's my rant for today. Rhino, that's unbelievable to me. It really is.
So great rant, by the way. 2 quick things. It's Rich Paul speaking for LeBron James.
Yes.
And he has a no trade clause. What is the point? Except stirring the pot. Also, the play-in, you know how you used to play in probably, and I'm assuming here, in high school, junior high, probably a lot of lacrosse and hockey tournaments, right? For high school or club. Did you used to do that?
I played club hockey at Bowling Green, and I enjoyed that. In high school, did you say?
Yeah, high school, junior high. No,
I only played varsity sports, I played not clubs. I played on the whether it was junior high or high school, but no, I was never on a club team.
Okay. Well, you play in a lot of tournaments. Even if you're in high school, you'll play in a couple of tournaments if it's like basketball or whatever, baseball usually. They always or many times would have the losers bracket. Even though you got bounced out of the tournament, we're going to have you play a couple more games, and the loser gets this loser bracket trophy, right? It's a participation award. That's what the NBA play-in is.
It's a joke.
You're not good enough to be in the top 8, but hey, we're going to try to include you anyways. And as you said, you get the 1 seed.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. Here's a great text from the 916. Hey, Grant, the only NBA Cup I care about is the one that they put beer in, and it's damn near $20 a pop. Simply ridiculous. You'll never see me buying a beer at a sporting event. Never. Not doing it. Not doing it. Don't need it. Not going to do it. Just out of principle. Grant, can you explain to me, as a lifelong Kings fan, how to get through 58 more games of this terrible team? Kings ownership needs to start paying you Rhino and Jerry for making this season watchable for fans. If this team plays out of their mind and goes 500, they would finish with 30 wins and an 8th pick in the draft. What a mess. Yeah, it's a mess, all right. Yeah, I don't know how you get through 58 more games. I will have to get through 58 or most of them. I can't guarantee I'll do all 58. I might do 56 or 57, depending on whether I'm traveling or have an issue. But for the most part, we'll have to get through 58 more games over on YouTube and X. And yeah, it right now not looking very good.
Here's how you get through it. You're going to have to change your perspective. It's going to have to go from the micro to the macro, meaning it's not outcomes. It's going to be moments that will get you through the season. When Neat Clifford shows you a play that, oh, wow, that's going to carry over. It's going to be the little things, and that's going to be for the hardcore of the hardcores.
Let's have some fun here. Bold prediction of the day at 5:12 on December 10th, 2025. How many wins will the Kings end up with? How many wins you giving them? Hello? All right, he's answering the phone. That's why. So I'll ask you, how many wins will the Kings end up with tomorrow being their 25th game of the season? All right? How many wins are you giving the Kings to end up with when you just think about how bad the first 24 games have been without really knowing trades that may occur or anything else? What do you think? Rhino, do you have a number for me? If I'm looking at a record right now of 6-18, tomorrow is the 25th game of the year. So you have 58 games left, including tomorrow.
Yep.
What do you think the win total is going to be this year?
21.
I was going to say 22. No way they reached 25, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Right. All right. Yeah. So I don't know how you're going to get through.
Okay. Where do you think 21 wins puts you in terms of the lottery?
I think you will be behind the Washington Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you will be behind the New Orleans Pelicans. And I think you'll be behind the Clippers. I think it will put you as the 4th worst team in the league. You?
Yeah. I was going to say 4th or 5th.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's get to Lynn in Sacramento. Lynn, are you still in Germany or are you back from your trip?
I am back. Got back on the weekend.
Good trip?
Great trip. Really enjoyed it. I got a little bit of a travel rant for you. Got a quick question for you and Ryan. When you guys fly, do you guys recline your seat or not recline?
If I'm in economy and the pitch, which is the distance from one seat to the other, is not very good, I never recline my seat.
Never. Recline.
Okay.
Never for me.
All right.
Unless again, we're in first class or somewhere other.
Now, if I'm on an international flight and I'm in economy, then yes, because I think everyone reclines their seat in economy. They make you put the seat up when you are eating. But when I'm on a long flight and I'm in an international, which I think, yes, then at that point I would, and so does everybody else.
Okay. No problem. I just got a quick question. I had a very interesting one because, I was back to Germany, fly on a nice 777, nice plane, and it only has 24 seats in premium economy.
Yep.
And in that group, only 3 people recline. The 2 people in front of me, my wife, and 1 person reclined where there was a little kid. I could not believe this gentleman reclined as far as he went back. I mean,
so in premium economy on an international flight, I have no problem with that. You're paying an extra $400 to $800 on your ticket for extra leg room.
True.
And so I have no problem with that. I always recline my seat in premium economy. I find that most people do. I would also tell you that all airlines are different with their seat configurations, their cabin configurations, their seat distances, width, pitch, and everything. They're all different. But if I'm in premium economy internationally, I always recline my seat. And I don't think anything of it. And I would expect most people in premium economy to do the same thing. So, yes, that's what I'm paying for. I'm paying for the extra room. I'm paying for the extra recline. I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem if the person in front of me does that at all.
No problem. I just want to know what take. So the one thing was really weird was when I went to go to the restroom, I came back, the guy fully reclined. So I was trying to figure out, how do I get in my seat? Do I try to be like a gymnast and jump over the you know how the seat goes up in economy, but in premium economy, they don't go up the seat thing.
Yeah, the armrests don't go up. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, the armrest doesn't go up. So I actually banged this guy, and this guy gave me this dirtiest look. I said, dude, I'm like 6'7". I am like a tight end for like the Chiefs. I'm a big guy. I'm gonna hit the seat. I said, do you mind moving it up a little bit while I'm going in and out? And the guy just gave me a total attitude, and I just could not believe it. So that's just my rant a little bit. I just wish some people could be more courtesy when people are trying to get out and not worry about it. But that was just blew me away, where this guy was just like was going to try to start a fight with me.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I'm trying to get
Unless the individual that's reclining a seat is sleeping, then I would understand that. But my own personal experience, and I always try to do premium economy when I can on a long flight. I don't have any problem with people reclining their seat, and I don't have any problem reclining my seat. Regular economy, I rarely, probably never recline my seat.
But be very courtesy. I was when the lights went out, I had to go to the bathroom. So what I did was I jumped over the seat and didn't want to bump him because I didn't want to wake him up.
Yeah, I've done the same thing.
The bathroom.
Yeah, I've done the same thing.
Have you ever been in the bathrooms on a 7x7, 777 in a premium economy?
I've flown on 777s countless number of times. They're all different, by the way. The bathrooms are different sizes.
Yeah. So the bathroom United is like right in the center of it. And it was funny. I was in line. I was looking at the one side of the bathrooms. There are like two doors. I looked to the right, and there was only one door. I thought I was Ralphie in the Christmas Story down the Red Rider. Because that bathroom, Grant, was so big. I went inside there, and this lady behind me goes, "Sir, the bathroom is open on the left side there." I said, "Ma'am, you can go ahead head me. I want to use that bathroom on the right side."
Yeah.
So the person got out of the bathroom. I went in there, and I was shocked how big this bathroom was.
Yep.
I put my arms out, Grant, and I could touch it, but it was barely.
I know.
And I'm 6'7" with a
The
wingspan.
bathrooms on
And
these
this bathroom
planes
was like the biggest one.
I know, even in the same cabin class, the sizes of the bathrooms on these international carriers, there's always a bathroom that is much larger than the others. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I tell you what, Grant, that was the bathroom I used for the rest of the trip, going and coming back. I made sure to use that bathroom because sometimes being as a big guy, I feel like I'm like tuna in one of the little small ones. But no, it was a great trip, man. It was a good trip. If you ever get a chance to do a Christmas market trip, it is far worth doing. It was amazing. I had a great time. And actually, my wife was cracking up because all I could find was German entertainment and on the TV, and all was in German. So I actually looked at the time and went back on the West because, I can listen to Grant Napear. So I threw Grant Napear on there. She's like, "Come on, we're in Germany. Can you give me a break?" She said, all right, guys. Thanks for answering the question, Grant. It was great talking to you as always.
Thank you.
See ya.
Appreciate it. I didn't think I would be talking about the lavatories on a airplane on today's show, but I do travel, Rhino. I mean, everything's up for grabs, right?
Since Lynn went there, I'm going to ask you, since you are well traveled and you can have that, you're talking about the pitch of the way the seats go back. Have you ever encountered, like, if you're flying on your own, being next to a couple that's a little bit too much PDA, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did that a couple of months ago. Yes. Yeah, it's actually very uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
Right.
I had that on the way home from Dallas. Yes.
Yeah.
Super awkward.
Yes, it is. Very much so.
You don't know what to say. Like, you can't say anything.
No,
You're a prisoner.
No, it's mind-boggling to me. We'll come back. We'll open up the phone lines. We've got 25 wins, 21 wins, 18 wins, some other questions I'll get to. That's coming up next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
916-779-0929. Listen, if you fly a lot, you see pretty much everything on an airplane. And, you know, from different bathroom sizes to people reclining their seats, not reclining their seats. Again, economy, I get it. Premium economy, especially on an international carrier, if I'm paying the extra money, I'm doing it for 2 reasons. First and foremost, the leg room makes a huge difference. And then the recline, it's also a big difference. So, yeah, I don't have any problem with that. And the reason why I don't have any problem with that is if the person behind you is reclining their seat, it's a non-issue for them. Like, I'm not inconveniencing them. Now, Lynn talks about getting up, and because the armrests are immovable in premium economy, then, yeah, you do have to get a little creative to get, you actually have to put your leg over the armrest and then sit on the arm, or at least I do at my age, to get out of the seat, leaning back as you're doing it. So, yeah, I understand that. Hey, Grant, I know it's not quite time to really get into the NHL, but have you heard about the Olympic hockey rink issues in Italy for the 2026 Olympics? Yes. First of all, the ice surface is 3 feet shorter than what it's supposed to be. That's number one. And number two, the National Hockey League Players Association, I think the name's Bill Daly, if I'm not mistaken, has said that they're not playing. The NHL players will not play if the quality of the ice is not up to standards. Now, they believe that it will be, but as of now, it has not. And the NHL has sent a lot of their folks over to Italy to make sure that it's ready to go. Now, the women are going to begin Olympic play before the men, and that would give the ice more days of good care to get to where it needs to be if it's not. But the rink being 3 feet shorter, it's not ideal, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not that it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. And what they'll do is they'll take the 3 feet in between the lines and make up the ground there, make up the ice difference there, and keep the distance behind the goals the same. That's what they'll do.
Forgive
So,
my
yeah.
forgive
Go
my
ahead.
ignorance here, but if you have bad ice, can you not switch out, or do you not have enough time to redo the ice?
I think it would be the system that is creating the problems with the ice.
Okay.
So it's the system. Now, this happens, by the way, in the National Hockey League. Madison Square Garden has always, had a problem with their ice. And particularly when you get to the play, I told you this when you started to watch hockey, right? When they were playing in Tampa and they were playing in Florida in the Stanley Cup Finals. I said to you, I go, watch the puck. If it's bouncing a lot, that tells you it's a problem with the ice. Not to a point where it's dangerous for the players, but that the puck is on its end a lot because of the ice. And what happens is you can keep the ice in perfect condition, and then when you open up the doors for the fans to come in, and you have 18,000 fans coming in, and it's 90 degrees outside with 80% humidity, which is very often the case in South Florida at that time of the year, it doesn't take long for the ice condition to change, and it gets very chippy, and the puck is not gliding the way it would with much colder, harder ice. And so you'll see that happen a lot with the ice conditions, depending on what region of the country the Stanley Cup Finals are in, because it normally happens in the spring. It doesn't happen in the winter because it's cold pretty much everywhere. Even in the Sun Belt, I mean, it's not warm enough with the humidity that it's going to change the ice drastically. But, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
I also saw how much maintenance goes in between the timeouts to clearing out the shaving. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the Zamboni,
No.
at the end of each period.
Every 4 times a period, they come out with the shovels, and each rink has it different. In Dallas, they've got the Dallas Stars, like beautiful cheerleaders, look like coming out with their sponsored outfits on. I mean, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, it's pretty amazing what they do with the ice. But anyway, I did read the story about the ice surface, and again, the NHL Players Association, they didn't beat around the bush. They just said, hey, if it's not up to standard, the NHL players will not play in the Olympics. And it's a big deal because it's the first time in 10 years that they are doing so with the with Olympic hockey. I love Olympic hockey. It's one of my favorites, and I will watch it. I love watching it. It is great, but it is an issue. And again, it is Daly. I did get the name right. It is Bill Daly. Again, if the Olympic ice is unsafe, the NHL players are not going to play. He goes, it's as simple as that. He said to the NHL Board of Governor meetings on Monday. How about that? Now, the arena in Milan is scheduled to be finished February 2nd. All right? And he told the owners on Monday he did not believe that the construction issues that they're having with the rink were insurmountable. So, as I said, the women's hockey tournament begins 3 days after February 2nd, all right? And the men's tournament with the NHL players participating begins February 11th. And the arenas, from what I understand, will feature 3 games a day for nearly 3 weeks, which also does challenge or I don't want to say compromise, but it challenges the ice. So We'll see what happens. She said, as far as the NHL and NHLPA, that the league was going to increase their efforts. Quote, we have offered, and they're utilizing our ice experts and technicians and outside providers. We're basically moving everybody there to try to help get this done in a way that's acceptable for NHL athletes. And I'm cautiously optimistic it will be fruitful. This would be a disaster if the NHL players don't play in the Olympics. Now, from what I understand, the NHL is going to go over and test the ice from January 9th to 11th. And then as far as the two rinks in Milan, because they're not one, there's two, they're about 3 feet shorter than the standard. The standard rink is supposed to be 200 feet by 85. This is just under 197 feet. And by the way, that is against the agreement that was signed with the NHL and the NHLPA in July. But they don't think that's going to be that big of a deal.
So if you're building from scratch, how does that happen?
Well, that's a really good question. All right, that's a really good question. Daly said he didn't even know about this until last week. And Daly said that he's not even sure how it happened. He said Daly said nobody raised issue to him, and the league did not notice the difference in their several sites. And he was right. He goes, listen, he goes, it wasn't anything perceptible to anybody. It's not like people bring tape measures there. So like if you're looking at a sheet of ice and it's 200 by 85 and instead it's 197, you're not going to be able to really tell the difference by looking at the ice.
Right.
You're not going to go, wow, gee, what happened here? But again, they said they're willing to look past that. But they said that in the 2030 Olympics in France, it has to be built to NHL standards.
Can you imagine getting that phone call if you're one of those ice experts?
No.
Hey, we need you to move to Milan to work
I'll
on
go.
the ice.
Teach me how to do the ice. I'll move to Milan right now.
Yeah, honey,
I love Italy.
Honey, I'm sorry. It's work. I have to go.
I'm
going to be
get
in
me
Milan.
to Milan. Let me fly on Emirates too. Their nonstop service right into Milan. Put me up front. I'll go to Milan right now. See you later. Can you finish the show for me, Rano? I'm going to the airport. I'm going to go and I'm going to fly to Milan. Yeah, let's do it. Now, I can't fly out of San Francisco or LA. I got to go to New York first, which I'll find. I'll go to Del Frisco's on 49th and 6th, get myself the great bone-in New York, and I'll be very happy. Then I'll go right to JFK. I think the flight leaves at 10:20 p.m., nonstop to Milan. Put me up front in Emirates. I'll go. I'll help out with the ice. I'm there. Let me go.
I bet you I could name 20 major destinations around the world, and you could tell me your exact plans, including the restaurant, if you have to go to a different city, that you would hit on the way there.
I got a funny story. So on the way back from our trip to Switzerland, we're flying on Emirates. We're in the, we were flying. That's the trip that I did with my points, so it didn't cost us anything. So I'm flying business class from Milan to JFK on their Airbus A380. And we're sitting in the lounge, and my wife hyperventilates. All right?
Uh-oh.
She goes, oh, my God. And she goes, I can't believe it. That's Donatella Versace right there. And I'm like, who's that? I'm like, who's that? My wife has a magazine in her hand. She picks it up and she goes, this.
Wow.
She was on the cover of the magazine that she was reading, a magazine that was in the lounge. So Versace had her dog with her and like 2 or 3 of her security people, and they were sitting at the other end of the lounge. I said, I go, you like her? She goes, yeah. Oh, my God. I go, why don't you go up and say hello to her? She goes, no way. I go, she's just a person like you. Go up and say you appreciate her, admire her. Just go and say hello. So anyway, I see her get up and go to the food area. And I go, okay, well, I'm going to go say hello to her. She goes, no, you're not. I go, yeah, I am. I get up, I walk over, and I'm standing next to her, and I goes, hi, how are you? I go, great to see you. I hope you have a great flight. She goes, oh, thank you very much. I go, and your dog's really adorable. I really like your dog. She goes, oh, thank you very much. I was going to say my wife is sitting over there, but she's too scared to come up and say hello to you, so I'm doing it for her, but I didn't say that.
I thought you were going to go dress her down for how much money you've paid her over the years.
Well, that's a good point. So then I come back And I go, yeah, she's very nice. She goes, oh my God, I saw you talking to her. I go, yeah, she's just like you or me. She's just famous and has a lot of money. So anyway, this is great. At a lot of the lounges that Emirates flies in around the world, you walk onto the airplane right from the lounge. You don't have to go downstairs to the gate because it's an Airbus 380 and their first and business is on the upper level. So they have their own jetway from the Emirates lounge right onto the plane. Okay, so you don't go through what you would fly if you're flying economy. So all of a sudden, they make an announcement that they'll be boarding this flight to New York soon. And all of a sudden, I see an individual from Emirates walk up to Miss Versace. They walk their dog onto the airplane with her 2 security detail, and they were the only one in first class. And my wife was joking, you know what? I bet you that dog is going to get better service than 80% of the people on this plane. Probably going to, those that they have showers on board the Airbus A380. Said that dog's probably going to get a bath. It's probably going to get groomed. It's probably going to be like spoiled for the next 8.5 hours flying to New York. And I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yep, that dog's going to send back its fillet because it was medium, not medium rare. Yeah.
How about that, huh? Yeah. Yeah.
Insane.
Dog doesn't realize how good he or she had it. I did not know if it was a male or a female dog, but I guarantee you, a dog just has no idea how lucky they are. That's the luck of the draw right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The amount of dog bathrooms, we got to get out here in a second, though. The amount of dog bathrooms that you're seeing pop up in airports now is crazy.
It is in America, not internationally.
In America, yes.
Yeah. I mean, flying now, going on an airplane in America now is like walking through PetSmart. It's unbelievable.
It is. They have dogs there just for comfort. If you want to pet them, they volunteer. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Really unbelievable. You know what else is unbelievable? The service that you get at DAS Mechanical when it comes to heating and air. They're awesome. HVAC retrofit and service specialist. I love talking about them. And I love when I get text messages like I did yesterday from a very happy customer. Said, I had a great experience last week with DAS Mechanical. Started out as a call for a non-working heater. The heater started up before DAS got here. Nick, the technician, tuned up the 23-year-old system and recommended a couple of parts be changed. No hard sell. Given the system is 23 years old, I had him install the parts. I'll have him back in the spring to tune up the AC. Great group. That's why they have so many 5-star reviews and numerous best of the best awards. And again, when it comes to HVAC retrofitting and service specialists, they are awesome. And they also do new systems. They serve Placer and Sacramento counties. And if you need a new system, if you happen to need financing, no problem. All right? No problem at all. Many options, including 0% interest for 18 months. And here's one other thing, and I didn't realize this, that most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric to be more energy efficient and save money on your energy bills. Well, if your system is 15 years or older, it may be time to explore that. And DAS, they are experts with that. Again, dasmechanical.org. Schedule everything online. Look at their 5-star reviews, their numerous best of the best awards. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Final segment of this Wednesday show coming up next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
How do you think the Phoenix Suns are feeling right now? They are playing in that mighty NBA Cup quarterfinal game. They're playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The score at the break, Oklahoma City 74, Phoenix 48. What a machine the Oklahoma City Thunder are. Hey, did you see what the NFL Players Association wants to have done with changes to NBA officiating, suggesting rewarding performance so that only high-performing game officials share in the year-end bonus period? They want more flexibility in postseason assignments. The league believes that the best-performing officials should be on the field during the postseason. They want a longer probationary period to assess new officials and to gain flexibility in removing those who are underperforming. They want increased training and development for probationary and low-performing officials. They want to shorten the dead period when the league cannot contact the officials, which currently lasts from the Super Bowl until May 15th. And they want to have basically a practice squad. The league says it is considering increasing the number of game officials to develop a deeper bench. I'm going to reach out to Mike Pereira and I'll see if I can get Mike on the show tomorrow. Love Mike Pereira. Just from Fox and one of my favorites. Gosh, I've known Mike for a long, long time. Love Mike. So I'll see if I can get him on tomorrow. Let's see. What do we have tomorrow? We got Chris Landry at 4, right, Rhino?
Chris at 4. It fits
Yeah,
with
so I'll
football.
see if we can get Mike on at 5. I would love to get his reaction to this. What did you think of that when you saw it?
Some of it was a little bit surprising that it wasn't already in place, or maybe it is and they just want to ramp it up. I like the idea of the practice squad. That's a good idea, but I think it's so hard, and I'm sure Mike would tell you this because he has in the past, to recruit officials now. And if you've got good ones that you think are doing well, I mean, don't put them through the ringer.
Yeah, I don't want to have Mike going on head-to-head with the NFL game because we'll have to watch that. So I'll see if I can get him on in the
3:20.
first, either 3:30 or 4:30. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. All right. We still have time. If you want to get in on the program, the number to call or text 916-779-0929. Kings and Nuggets tomorrow. So you think the number one key is what's the score of the game when Joker's on the bench?
By far. You have to win the minutes that Jokic is on the bench.
Okay.
That's what wins teams games against the Nuggets. In fact, it's what won the Kings the game against the Nuggets in their last meeting, because the first half they did not do that. The second half they did it overwhelmingly.
All right. Bold question of the day. It's
these.
early in their run. But when you look at how Oklahoma City is set up currently, the youth of the team, their draft assets, arguably the best front office in basketball, they're 23-1. They're the defending champs. Are we looking at the beginning of the next NBA dynasty?
Define dynasty. 3 or more?
3 championships at least in a 5-year period of time.
Yes. I don't know how you could argue you're not, because it's not so much of what you're watching right now. It's what they have waiting on the back end. They could potentially have the first pick this year and win the NBA championship. Think about that for a second. My only thing that I hold back from or makes me wonder, Grant, is they feel so mechanical to me. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of charisma with that team. And SGA, he gets it done, but is he really like a Steph Curry killer, right? Is he one of those Kevin Durant's, who's actually a bad example? You know what I mean? Those guys that an MJ, a Kobe, like it feels like the team is somewhat lacking that, or a personality.
Ryan, they're 23-1.
I know.
I mean, come on.
I know.
And who's the best player on the team at 23-1? Who was the MVP of the regular season? Who was the NBA of the Western Conference Finals? And who was the MVP of the NBA Finals? It was SGA.
SGA. Yeah, I know.
So to answer your question, he is that guy. He just does it in a different way.
Yeah. Well, in what happened last year in the playoffs, foul merchant. He slows down the game. And so
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault, but I wonder how the game evolves over the next 5 years with how calls are called. You know, that always changes. The NBA does their edicts where they want it to be more physical, less physical, etc. I would say this, though, because I was speaking to somebody that works for the Thunder, and the job that front office is doing and the job that Mark Diagno is doing to keep the focus. One of the sayings they kept saying to me was, be where your feet are at. Just focus on one and stack, and focus on one, and things will continue stacking up and the chips will fall where they fall. They're 23-1 right now. So the fact that they've just won a championship and they're that focused is crazy.
Well, you just hit it right on the head. Their desire, there's no drop off from last year. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the season from what I was hearing, is they want to be like that dynasty. They want to be in the history books. And a lot of times you'll see teams that win a championship not be as hungry the next year.
Yeah.
They're hungrier right now, it appears, than they were last year. And to think about 23-1, And to think about what they have in the pipeline, so to speak, right? Like, I mean, how could they not be right where they are for a long period of time, barring a serious, significant injury to an SGA or, well, I guess you could start right there.
Yeah, or a team that just quite simply plays a style that might be their kryptonite. We haven't seen that quite.
But they'll change their style because they have all the capital to go out and play whatever style they want. They can change their style if they want to in mid-form.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It's a great point. Can they retain everybody that they need to? The last time we saw something like this started by the same person, Sam Presti, was in OKC, right? You had Westbrook, you had Harden, you had Durant, and they couldn't keep everybody. So it's interesting to me. It's going to be interesting to see where that balance is. You hit the nail on the head between transforming but not changing the formula too much. And they obviously have guys of the same mindset, right? So you got to be careful about who you bring into that as well.
Very true. And I don't see Sam Presti making too many mistakes in that area. Do you?
I do not. No. Grant, when was the last time a GM was head and shoulders beyond his, I don't want to say competition, but beyond
his peers?
His peers, yeah.
Yeah. He's been doing it for many, many years. And again, to think that they are this good, Ryan, and they're so well set up for the future. Forget about the championship right now. Forget about their record. I think every team in the league would trade places with the Oklahoma City Thunder when it comes to their draft capital and what they have in the bank.
In a heartbeat.
Right. That's my point. And they're already the best team in the league. Like, you generally don't have both. You either have one or the other.
So the person that I was talking to said that they were bent that they didn't win the NBA Cup last year. They're
going to win it this year.
They want everything this year.
They're going to win it this year. You think anybody's going to beat them? You think that Orlando, New York, or the Lakers or whoever or the Spurs are going to beat Oklahoma City Thunder?
I think Orlando or San Antonio would have the best chance.
Boy, I think they will destroy those teams. If Oklahoma City wants to play, they'll destroy those. If Wembanyama was on the floor, then maybe I could see them being in the game. But without him, the matchups, I don't see it happening.
I didn't say it was a good chance. I said they have the best chance.
Well, the good news is if you're looking at this from Sacramento's perspective, they don't play Oklahoma City anymore this year.
Indeed. Unless they somehow get to the 10 and end up making it through.
916 says, from my understanding, the design footprint at Golden One is too small for hockey. And I don't have a problem with that. It was built primarily for basketball. They did not want to lose the intimacy that the arena has for basketball. So, I don't have a problem with that. It's never realistic that you're going to get hockey in Sacramento. It's never been realistic. So I'm fine with that. They used to play NHL preseason games at Arco. The Sharks used to have some games in there, and it was, as I think I've told you the story, one of the biggest thrills of my life, going to skate around, and I'm watching the Sharks and the Montreal Canadiens going through their morning skates, and Dick Irvin, the household hockey announcer in Canada, one of the great names, but he started talking to me, and to make a long story short, I ended up on the Montreal Canadiens radio network that night doing color for a legendary hockey announcer in Canada. Yeah. I don't know how these things happen to me. I really don't.
It's incredible.
Right place at the right time. I never thought I'd be on the Montreal Canadiens radio network with a Hall of Famer, legendary announcer like him. What a thrill that was. Wow. I'll never forget that. Right place at the right time, as they say. I don't know what else.
And
I don't know what else
ready for your opportunity.
And I was ready, and I cherished it. All right. 7 o'clock tonight, YouTube, X. If you don't like that, back at it tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Right here, everyone. Thank you so much. For Rhino in Sacktown, my thanks to Larry Kruger for coming on. I'm Grant Napear. Thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
Cameron, I just think we need to, see other people.
Are you trading me in?
No. A trade-in is what I'm getting from Kitchen Mart.
A trade-in.
Right now, Kitchen Mart's offering a $750 credit when you trade in your old kitchen countertops for something worth showing off, like granite, marble, or solid surface.
I'm not worth showing off?
Not like the stunning new quartz countertops Kitchen Mart just installed for Karen and Tom. Durable, easy cleanup, made their kitchen look brand new. And Kitchen Mart gave them a $750 trade-in credit to haul off their ugly old tile and grout countertop.
You're dumping me.
That's harsh. You want me to wait till I get the new countertops from Kitchen Mart?
At least hold off till Wednesday. I'm seeing Susan.
Susan!
Now's the perfect time to trade up to beautiful new quartz, granite, marble, or solid surface countertops. Because for a limited time, Kitchen Mart's offering a $750 trade-in credit for your old countertops. Go to kitchenmart.com today and schedule a free in-home consultation and save $750 off new countertops.
No one does it better than KitchenMart.com.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne.